As I suspected, 32 flavors.
Try the sauce. I'm soaked in it.
Oh, I could lick you all day long.
No, I don't hate Balboa, but I pity the fool, and I will destroy any man who tries to take what I got.
What? Hello, folks. So I'm gonna do a confession here. We were gonna start a minute sooner, but I had my first boomer moment in several months. It was a boomer moment.
Well, it was great because you did your entire intro while we were not live, and I thought that was quite cute.
So it was like, wow, okay, that happened. So either way, we're here, and hello, welcome all. Man, there is a lot of you here, and that is crazy. I see Tim Hayes. How's it going, Tim? Daz Wolfen, Cody, Guy, Monkey G Bus, Gareth Morgan, Stephen Lansom, Dr. Dragon, Dave Serta, Darts, Scipio. Hello, sir. Oh, dude, thank you. How you doing? Oh, man. Southern Viking. What's up, Southern Viking? D-Bud Martin. And a hungry boy, the great hungry boy. KR Nut 82, Gutsy 77, the Grifter. I love that name, Grifter. How you doing? Man, you guys came out in full force for this one. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 48th episode. Can you believe this shit, guys? The 48th episode of Toxic Tuesday. This is crazy. It once started as this will be a few months thing just to get away. And now here we are at 48 episodes. And this one is very special. We all know what we're talking about tonight, but this is also the beginning of a few weeks of doing animated-based movies. And, well, I'm just going to let you guys know that before we get into heavy metal, usually I save for the end of the show, but we're going to talk about it right now. So after tonight's heavy metal edition, next week, we're going to also talk Team America World Police as well. And then the following big, huge episode 50, we're going to talk Beavis and Butthead Do America as well. So it's going to be a 3-week festivity of animated ridiculousness. And it's going to be huge in more ways than one. But Abigor, what's up? Yes. Oh, I said heavy metal. That's right. Shawnee Sepp, how you doing? So anyways, we got a few more faces on the way, but we're going to go on. Also, guys, no Mark D with the seat tonight to carry the visuals. So we're just going to have a nice, casual, fun conversation on heavy metal. It's still going to be great, and it's still going to be huge. So we're going to say hello to our panelists. How you doing, Mr. Just Another Redshirt?
I'm doing great and looking forward to this. This is a movie from my younger days and one of my all-time favorites as a young man. I probably wore out a VHS tape of this as soon as I could get one.
Oh, that is going to be the VHS release alone. That's going to be a great subject of conversation because there's a lot of story there alone on that. But dude, good to have you. And despite everything going on, everything's been like a crazy, like, whoa, hey, like I can't be around, but hey, oh, hey, my technology, but we're here. We got this. And Richard, glad to have you back as always, sir. And then
thank you.
We're all boomering tonight.
I'm typing muted so you don't hear my keyboard.
He's been eliminated already.
70s. How you doing, dude?
I'm all right, buddy. I'm good. I'm having a good couple of days off work. I'll be back tomorrow morning. So watching this and doing some other YouTube stuff. It's been fun. And I too actually saw this movie first on VHS. Didn't see it at the cinema. And I was technically still a teenager, I think, even though I was in the adult world doing adult stuff. So I always appreciated its in combination of imagination and masturbation, I think.
Imagination and masturbation. No,
Yes, this
that
is the adolescent fantasy we've all been wanted and continue to want. I believe it's Columbia TriStar's most successful movie ever. But yeah, this I was reading some notes today, right? As you and I've written down boobs, boobs, boobs.
So that I'm great. We'll make that our segue as we're talking about the movie. I guess we could talk about first like my lively connection to this movie. Like I got into this movie at a point in time where I was discovering a bunch of other crazy type of movies. Like I known about stuff like The Yellow Submarine, and I know about stuff like Pink Floyd's The Wall. So obviously these are movies that have crazy things going on, a lot of animation in various aspects, but also they're very musically based as well too. And I remember like seeing the magazines at like my local 7-Eleven, the heavy metal magazines, and thinking, wow, okay, that is a very fascinating cover there. And obviously all those covers from those magazines and comic books really stood out way back when for very obvious reasons. And they always made it onto certain stands. You're thinking, wow, it's that accessible to get a hold of Heavy Metal magazine. Hey, Dustin, how you doing? What's up, dude?
What's happening, guys?
Welcome, man.
to see you,
Nice
buddy.
to see you.
Hey there.
You got it right on time for our segue of Heavy Metal. But yeah, I remember like watching stuff like The Wall and then watching stuff like this and be like, whoa, what is going on with this movie? Obviously, I was already in love with the soundtrack. I mean, come on, you had Blue Oyster Cult, you had Sammy Hagar. I mean, come on, anyone in the chat is Sammy Hagar? I know some of you are probably going, oh, he's bad, dude. Sammy Hagar doing the Heavy Metal song was kick ass, and of course you had Black Sabbath with The Mob Rules as well.
One of my favorite subs. Yeah. I'm a Dio man, so that was one of my favorites.
The music in this movie was just like I already knew I loved it just off the music, and I was like, I don't know exactly what's going on in the story, but I knew I was in love with this movie just off the music. And I had to watch it a few times because it felt like a drugged out experience, but I didn't care because it was so glorious to look at.
I did read one review today, Nick, that said it had the most wretched soundtrack ever to emerge from the 1980s. So, taste. I love it personally, but I
love it too. No, yeah. But I remember watching it and then watching it again. I'm like, okay, I'm starting to slightly understand whatever it is that is going on in this movie. And yeah, and obviously for a lot of kids in middle school, like, hey, this was one of those movies that you had access to for very special reasons, and it was more accessible than certain other things on special networks at the time. So it's just like, hey, there was Heavy Metal. And then, of course, one big thing for me was South Park. The episode Major Boobage, I think that was called. I think it was season 3 or 4, if anyone wants to correct me in the chat. I remember watching this, I'm like, hey, that can't, is it? Then I found out, I'm like, it is. So especially for me, that first sequence which takes place, I think, in 2030 or 2031, where you got the random cab driver in New York, and he's just like, he's your regular cab driver, and he meets the ginger, and then, she's on the run.
I just think they did an incredibly convincing portrayal of New York City today. Because that's what it looks like
corrected.
Today.
Season 12.
But yeah, it looks just like New York does now.
New York, yeah, there's just I don't think there's cars and cabs outfitted with guns right now, but
no, that was what I was saying. The cabbies in New York now have James Bond cars with machine guns in them. That's awesome.
I like the death ray in the back personally. That was
great. I thought. Yeah, the death ray in the back of the seat. That's the ultimate. That actually beats James Bond's ejection seat from Goldfinger.
Is it just me, or is there a touch of Fifth Element feeling about that first sequence?
Yeah.
Well, Fifth Element clearly ripped it off.
Yeah.
And hello, gentlemen. How you doing?
Tom, how's it going,
great.
Tom?
Doing awesome. I'm here to talk about heavy metal while I'm working.
Nice. Well, thank you for being here, sir. We're talking about the amazingly, openingly great first sequence of, well, obviously with the Lonar and New York City. And
The Lochnar.
It's before
Or
that even.
Lochnar.
It starts with the amazing car coming out of spacecraft.
Yeah.
And landing, and like, where's the atmospheric friction?
On time and space.
Well, it's a cartoon, but I mean, yeah, the thread you're talking. You were asking about, Nick, and that we can talk about. The thread through this is that there's a little girl in what we would call in the movie real life, whose father is the guy in the spacesuit in the '50s Corvette, who brings home the Lochnar in a canister. And, you know, I as soon as I saw that car in space, I thought Elon Musk is a fan of this
thought that
movie.
the same thing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
He just replaced the '50s Corvette with Tesla, but he was reenacting the credit sequence, the opening sequence of Heavy Metal. Man, it's just like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, where have I heard about this before? Oh yeah,
Actually, a
Well, it's also
1960 Corvette.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's also about that guy doesn't last more than 3 seconds when he gets on the ground, which is also awesome. He's dead within seconds.
Yes.
Speaking of cars, Eric K for $2. Thank you, Eric. Says when the Red Rocker was the red freaking rocker. Thank you, Eric, for that $2. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Lord.
so that's going to be the thread that ties each
Yeah.
of these segments together is the Lochnar and the girl.
What you got, Dustin?
Liquid death.
Liquid death.
Severed
lime.
Severed lime. It's lime.
Severed lime.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I've got all 5 flavors in the house, so we'll be doing a review on those.
Ooh. I look forward to seeing that. That sounds great. Now, okay, so obviously now back to, yes, we have the girl, and she sees her dad straight up
I
evaporate.
can top that one.
Oh,
The Rush beer from
What's
Henderson
the
Brewing.
name? Canadian Golden Ale. I thought I was gonna be named after a song or something,
Geddy Lee has bathed in every vat of this, I believe.
What?
No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, you get it from Henderson Brewing in Ontario. So
So it's not like a
Cana-
limited run.
Yeah, very limited. Yeah, it's and this is a Canadian movie, really. So I felt it was appropriate.
It is.
Yeah.
And this was at one point in time it was the highest grossing Canadian flick until Porky's obviously overdid it by its because this movie I think it did around like 20 something million at the box office, and his budget was around like 9 or 10 million at the time. Yes, expiration date 21/12.
Partly what attracted me to watching it was the cast and it was Ivan Reitman, Harold Ramis, John Candy, Joe Flaherty. I thought this is going to be good because I was into that kind of comedy anyway. Plus I was into science fiction, and plus I was into the music. I thought this is fucking awesome.
But
It's
not
an
just
adolescent
heavy
wet
metal
dream.
music.
Yeah,
Also the composing music from Elmer
Well, that's
Bernstein.
actually really
I
grand,
love
particularly in the last sequence with all that flying around, and they're just perfect.
Well, the weird thing is you kind of hear a lot of beginnings of what ends up becoming the Ghostbusters score as well.
Yeah,
Like there's echoes of that into not just the ambience that he used, some of the instrumental sounds, like especially the music for the Lochnar is a lot like the Ghostbusters music.
Oh,
like compare that to like Gozer's theme compared to the Lochnar, like it's very close. Yeah,
That music in the Tarna sequence is extremely good. The orchestral music, really way above what you would have anticipated in quality.
yeah. And Dana's theme is much like the little girl's theme in this movie too. And yeah, it like you said, the great thing is you have like a variety of flavors here. You have the different types of story going from sci-fi to action, like Sword and Sandal to horror, straight up horror, and then like a comedy, right? And stuff like that. It just keeps giving you different stuff, and it's kind of like a Tales from the Crypt kind of thing, but it's got its own style, and it's really an interesting artistic like watching it in 4K was like watching it for the first time, and then seeing this movie now in comparison to all the stuff we get, it's like this is the kind of stuff I wish we'd get. Like hand-drawn animation like this is a lost art. Like there's a beauty in its imperfections.
Absolutely.
Well, that New York scene though, like that New York set, like was that like at first was like almost kind of hard to watch now, like because it was so shaky and hand drawn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, whoa, shit. Maybe I'm a little sick too, so like that might have something to do with it. But
yeah, the background paintings I noticed in the final segment, there's color shifts going on the ground from almost from frame to frame, which is at first is a little bit distracting, but then it's like it looks like light changing on texture of the ground. So it's not as out there as it first appears if you're used to computer animation, where once they've rendered it, that's what it sticks with. It just stays. A background painting is, and in older cartoons like Warner Brothers, a background painting would have been used, and only the characters would have been drawn on, and that background might be scrolled because they would make it big enough that they would just photograph parts of it and then move it behind the, in the camera field. But there are variations in this, because I was looking at the Corvette, and unless I missed my guess, in the credit scenes, the Corvette doesn't appear to change no matter what direction it's going. It's like the light is always hitting.
It's like
it
a
the same
cutout.
way.
Yeah,
it's a cutout. So in a sense, that's like an early and slightly better drawn South Park animation.
Yeah, there's at least
So
one
they
model.
used a lot of techniques.
There's at least
Well,
one model.
they call rotoscoping tracing. That's what the technique that they are doing for the animation cells. Rotoscoping. They're tracing over like live footage of animation to get to where they're going. Obviously, there are some. I think they were also influenced by the style or trying to copy of Yellow Submarine. So there's definitely, like, if you look, there's definitely a similar style in the way the animation's moving from Yellow Submarine.
Yeah, and there's at least one model explosion in it. That's an actual model being blown up. I can't remember. I think it's in the
end scene of the house. Yeah.
Oh, it's at the house at the end. Yeah,
it's the house at the end blowing up as
so
a
they
model.
mixed a little bit of that in too. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few mixes in here. But no, Marby Dog, Heavy Metal is not technically similar to Scanner Darkly, because not only was Scanner Darkly done in a computer, there's only some stuff that's rotoscoped in Heavy Metal, not all of it.
Hey, Wes, how's it going, dude? Welcome.
Well, it's going great. I wouldn't miss this for the world.
Good. No, thank you for being here. So we're fresh into our talkings about Heavy Metal. I mean, like, what was the trip like for you seeing this movie? Like what was was this like a flick that was a gateway for toxicity for you? Like, where's Heavy Metal been on a cultural level? Where's it been on the significance of culture greatness in your life? Tell me.
Oh man, well, I have some. I have a very interesting story about Heavy Metal, and that's, I have very young parents, right? Mm-hmm. So I think around the time I was like 3 or 4 years old, whenever Heavy Metal came out, my dad, for whatever reason, was watching us alone, and he got incredibly stoned with his friends, and actually took us to see. I was like 3 or 4. My brother was like 5 or 6. To see Heavy Metal. And all these people are like, what are their kids doing in here? And then my dad got super paranoid and pulled us out of the theater once the boobies started showing up. But that's my first exposure to Heavy Metal.
And this is the way boobies should be drawn, by the way. This is the template for all movies, animated movies. They should be drawn like that.
Yeah.
So you were all about the ginger when she walked into the cab driver's room. And it just happens. You're like, well, okay, this is at a time when gingers' lives mattered.
There's a great line in there where somebody's talking about the UN building being used as low-cost housing. I thought, what a great idea.
That's a positive vision of the future.
That's a positive, yeah. Well played. Yeah, it's a
I
great
want to
sequence.
go between the opening story, but also I love the robot story where they go to the Pentagon.
Yes.
Scene. And I love with the Pentagon, like, it's like I'm watching, especially now, it feels kind of prophetic in weird ways because it's like you can actually see this now happening at the Pentagon, and you see our Ginger and a robot having a whatever you want to call relationship. I'm like, wow, this feels so weirdly like timely with today's world, with especially with the Solo movie and how there's an attachment with Lando and a robot. I was just like, but that romantic relationship was freaking hilarious. So. And that's where you had Harold Ramis as well involved in that scene. Like I love that scene. That's when you see Harold Ramis like, oh hey, it's Harold Ramis speaking.
Yep. He was the green. He was the green.
Yeah.
He was the green.
Don't
alien.
tell me how to drive Stone, man.
You know your vision's fucked up, so you just let your hands do what they do, and you're straight. And then he proceeds to bounce
landing, man.
Yeah, he bounces off like 4 things on the way in. And goes, great landing. There's a lot of humor in this. There's fantasy. There's a lot of teenage fantasy in this. The John Candy as
John Candy's
the
one. What's it called? It's
Den.
Dan.
Dan.
He's Dan in real life.
On Earth, I was just a geek. But here,
one day.
I'm Dan.
Yeah, yeah. That is such a teenage fantasy, fulfilled. Like, oh man, that'd be so cool. I mean, that's why I read the Conan books and the Gore
twice in one day.
Yeah, right.
Actually, that's one of the best sequences because it's just pure fun. That one, it's just absolute fun.
Yeah, well, of course, because the moment you really know it's like pure teenage fantasy, because she's about to kill him, and she's like, no, instead I'm gonna fuck you.
That's right.
Right. Exactly.
Or the part where the lights go on and he's grabbing her tits.
Yes. Right, yeah, I can't feel my way around here. Something feels strange around here.
Of course that happened. No, that whole sequence of trying to score the girl, do the fight, get the girl, going through the whole hero's journey. Well. That's basically this movie is the male gaze. Like
Dan, he adapts to it so well. I mean, there's none of this. Oh shit, what's happening? It's like, oh, this is good.
The lady was watching it while she was eating dinner. I just finished it up, and the lady sitting at the kitchen table watching this, and she's like, who fucking wrote this? Like a 12-year-old boy?
Yes,
pretty much.
And she's like, you watched this before? I'm like, yeah, I owned it on VHS.
Well, it's funny. I was watching it with the missus, and she said, "Oh, I know one of the guys in this." Well, she was at high school with one of the guys. It's Vlasta Vrana, who's the barbarian leader in the last section, the Tarna. He's a Canadian actor. She was at high school with him. I said, "I wish you'd told me that before. I could have tried to get to your reunions."
No, if somebody asks you if it was written by a 12-year-old, you say, yes, aren't they talented? Look at what they were able to accomplish.
Yeah.
Yep.
She was like, it's softcore porn. I'm like, no.
I think it's safe to say this is probably Beavis and Butthead's favorite movie.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Without a doubt.
Afterwards, they were probably like, Beavis, this was the greatest movie ever made.
It was the type of movie, like, if the kids didn't have access to getting the dirty channels at home, they knew they had better access to getting hold of heavy metal. It's like, okay, we could get a hold of heavy metal because those magazines are kind of in conjunction with the more, I guess you could say, other mainstream magazines. As I said earlier, I think right before you hopped on, Tom, at like your local 7-Eleven or even like a Walden Books. Because those magazines, because a lot of people who sold them on the racks, they didn't know those had like nudity in them. They just thought, oh, it's just another magazine. But little did they know.
Most of the time I knew you had to ask for them just like the porno mags. Like we always had to have an older cousin to get a hold of one. Or, a cool cousin's, like, chick's boyfriend or whatever would have it. Like, that was the first time I saw it. Was like one of my older cousin's boyfriends had like a couple of heavy metals. He's like, oh, you ain't never seen heavy metal before? We're like, no.
That was like the first time I heard anybody use the word dork instead of dick.
I know. Yeah. It's a pretty flimsy loincloth as well.
Major boobage.
There's another one in the taxi driver sequence. It's pretty good. It's where they're throwing out an illegal alien. Well, he is an alien,
Oh
So
yeah,
I thought
he's
that
just
was
a literal
he's an
alien.
actual illegal alien. Yeah.
Right.
There's some Men in Black stuff kind of going on there too. I think.
Yes.
So,
When you see the
that's a-
giant ship in space and there's a McDonald's there, I left out. I'm like, look, there's a McDonald's.
and there's a Jaws 7 in the New York
Yes.
sequence at the cinema. Jaws 7.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yes.
Yeah, wasn't that was a joke that was in what Back to the Future 2? It was like Jaws 23.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It's just so packed full of those little bits and pieces all the way through the movie. It just makes it such fun.
And
Look at that.
Christian Delorme with a Canadian $2 says, "Huge." Thank you, Christian, for the $2. I appreciate that. But no, I see deleted scenes that just kind of about world, but it's just I don't know what it was like up in Wisconsin, but in Illinois, like they had the heavy metal magazine just blending in. Like you could find a heavy metal magazine right next to like a Hit Parader or a Sports Illustrated. They didn't have it with like I guess you could say like the Penthouse of the Playboys. It was just like they had it. They must have been clueless, and also like Wizard magazine. I know a lot of people. There's the old school comic grizz. They remember Wizard magazine, whether they liked it or not. It was in line with those magazines, so that was for a lot of men who were very. There was a lot of growth issues at the time. They were looking to that as their more accessible gateway. So when this movie came out, it was like the perfect crime for them. It was like they knew they could have access to this, and it was a lot easier to get a hold of. Oh yeah, High Times. That was another one. Was High Times. So, but the music. Well, I mean, for me, some of my favorite songs. Obviously, I'm gonna always be partial to Black Sabbath, Mob Rules. That's good. That was one of the big ones that stood out for me. I was just like, bro, come on, like.
And Cheap Trick in there.
Cheap
I
Trick,
love Cheap
yes,
Trick. Nazareth,
yes.
good Scottish band. Nazareth,
Yes,
suitable
Nazareth
case for
is-
treatment. To see them in a soundtrack like this was awesome because they were one of my favorite bands.
Mhm,
But it's not
mhm.
all it's not all heavy as well. I mean, you got Devo.
No, it's
you
not.
get
Some of
Devo.
it's straight
It was,
regular rock.
Steely Dan or Donald Fagen.
Yeah, Stevie Nicks. And with the soundtrack, it did along with the movie. It didn't come out for like another 15 years after the release because they didn't have like right. There was tons of rights issues with the music at this movie came out. So because of the rights issues with the music, this movie didn't see a VHS release until 1995
8 or
or
9.
6. Was
That's
it
somewhere in there.
That's
thought
what
Because they
I-
released it in theaters again too. I remember that.
theaters, but what about VHS? Was it 95?
I remember
I was a
renting it.
teenager in high school.
That was
so
before
it was
that.
95, 98, somewhere like that.
I was gonna say it was. Well, also I think they brought it out at the same time as the DVD, which would have been like 97 or 98.
Okay.
Because I know they re-released. It would have been the anniversary too. I think they were doing
Yeah.
something for.
Well, it was Eastman, Kevin Eastman, who got a hold of.
Well, he bought heavy metal for a while there. Yeah.
Yeah, he bought it for a while, and he was able to work out a deal to get the movie to release, and able to get the soundtrack released as well. So, thank you, Kevin Eastman, creator of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, for doing that. Your services
That's
are
why
greatly
like
appreciated.
TV shows like The Wonder Years never made it to like DVD
Yeah.
box sets because of the music.
Yep.
Oh crap! You know,
Well,
you're right.
yeah,
I
that's-
never
I
thought
guess-
There's
of
a
that.
lot of stuff. Yeah.
WKRP also
Same
has
thing with
those
Beavis and Butthead.
issues.
Wow. I just pieced that together. Damn.
Because they didn't think about getting the video rights as well.
And
They
now
do
here we
now,
are.
all that shit in perpetuity.
Oh yeah, they make sure now.
Nice, yes.
All
and
media.
It is,
Well, it
No,
also
no, no.
helps that all the music is owned by 3 different companies now. Basically,
Oh, I know, right?
like
It's
they all
lovely.
ended up conglomerated. Yeah.
It's only 3 that win anything. Yeah.
Yeah, Disney doesn't even run their own music now. Warner Brothers does.
Yep.
And then
Wow.
Sony owns the other part, and then I can't remember. Is Sony and BMG together? And then there's because Sony and BMG are together now, and then I think Universal owns the rest of it.
Yeah. Because I worked for Universal back in the day. It was like a spinoff. It was No Name Universal back in the day. But yeah, so it's weird to see how like all that's just. But now there's so many like tiny labels like Wise Blood Records or or whatever it is. There's so many of those little record labels out now.
Well, there's indies now everywhere now. It's great. Yeah, 70s. Go ahead. Just go ahead
Yeah, I'll
and
just throw those up.
have at it. That's fine because we could definitely dissect some of these images because they'll make for great conversation. Obviously, we have the legendary poster of the movie, and obviously the one that's also made almost the cover for what every release of this has come out. I know there was a 4K release that came out recently, which I sadly still do not own. Shame on me, but I know Tom has it.
No, they completely remastered it from the ground up, and it looks amazing and sounds even better.
Yes, it is fantastic. It is worth getting.
You get that, and you throw in the Blu-ray right afterwards. It is like night and day, like totally different. Like it's so much better, and it deserved it and needed an upgrade because it's been a while since it's gotten any love. Yeah.
Well, you're talking 41 plus years.
Well, like I said, they did re-release it, and that's when they did the silver poster, this version of the poster here, with the silver background, because that's when they did a big push for it for the DVD and all that. And then it was one of the first Blu-rays that came out too, but for some reason it took them a while to get to it for 4K. But yeah, they finally did, and it's one of the better releases out there. You can still get it, and it's coming out again without the steelbook. And I don't know if it'll still have Heavy Metal 2000 with it or not, though. So you might want to grab that now if you can. It's worth it. It's only like $20 too. It's cheap.
See,
for a steelbook 4K, that is cheap.
Yeah,
I only saw Heavy Metal 2000 once, and I wasn't as wild about it.
Well, the problem with it is it wasn't even meant to be a heavy metal movie. It was a movie that got bought and the name slapped. Kind of like how National Lampoons, after that one guy bought the name, he just started slapping the name on all kinds of stupid fucking movies that weren't even National Lampoons movies and kind of sullied the name. But so that move really kind of bummed a lot of fans out too because we were expecting a lot more than that. It was just kind of like, what is this garbage?
It's supposed to all be about the Lochnar. And Heavy Metal 2000 wasn't about the Lochnar.
Right.
Nah, that Heavy Metal 2000 fell so short.
Yeah, and the sort of sex stuff in it was too PC. I mean, it wasn't perfunctory. There was something about it just was toned down way too much.
Man,
wasn't
The soundtrack wasn't as good.
Well, and I don't even think it was originally made to be like an R-rated type of thing. I think it was meant to be like a PG-13. Because like that time, you got to remember, we were getting shit like, was it AE, Titan AE, and some other more adult-leaning kind of cartoons, but weren't quite R-rated, but PG-13. So I think that originally was started a production as that kind of a movie, and they're like, oh, this is kind of like Heavy Metal. Let's slap the Heavy Metal name on it. And they probably said, oh, here, can you add a little few sex scenes and gore and stuff like that, probably. It's not very good. They slapped a soundtrack on it and shit like that, too, yeah.
They wanted the Heavy Metal name because they knew it had a cult fan base, and they wanted that recognition because they knew there was already, once again, an established audience. So like, hey, look, they'll eat it up. It's got the Heavy Metal name. They recognize it. Good old brand recognition paid off. Oh my God. This is
it's Dan.
I love his voice.
Yeah.
His voice doesn't fit his body, but
and
he's basically being a Captain Marvel here. Shazam Captain Marvel for those who are confused. I'm not talking about Marvel, just because he goes from being a kid in bed to being in this dream sequence.
The funny bit is the girl they rescue says she's from the British colony of Rock of Gibraltar. Well, that's a bit of a weird one. Like, who says that? I mean, somebody has to be from there, but it was a weird choice.
It is a weird choice.
Why they put that in the
If I remember correctly from IMDb, John Candy voiced both Dan, the kid, and this character, Den.
He did. He did a few characters.
Well, the thing is that the voices are quite different if they're both John Candy.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Wes. What you're saying?
Oh yeah. I guess in the commentary they were talking about John Candy kind of saving the day, doing voices here and there, and that he did far more voices than they originally had in mind for him, and he just kind of bailed him out, like he does, like the Donald Rumsfeld-esque character and the the robot one.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, he does a bunch of them.
I like as
just loved the way
These
he took to
goons.
this life immediately. There was no time. He was like, "This is great."
I like when you see about like a stabbing happen. It kind of happens like really slow, like what? Stab, slice head off, and it kind of happens like really slowly. Like you got enough time to dodge. Come on, you got enough time to dodge. Oh my god, these goons. I always saw when I see these goons, I'm like, man, these creatures look like they would have been on like He-Man or something.
And he gets to enter the Queen's chambers.
And fuck her. Oh, they fucked all right.
And then he gets to meet the Prince, Prick, Prince.
Look at that face right there. Look way in the woods.
Yeah, that's the B-17 pilot.
Oh yeah. These unfortunately in IMDb they've mixed all these photos up, so it's
No, it's okay. Just go off the album. It's okay. We're like I said, this is just very red. We all know that scene. Come on, no, we gotta look at that scene. Yeah, let's see. Because that's
Petroleum Nyborg.
That's where
it's
she's
either too
talking
much,
about-
no, not enough.
Go for broke.
Go for broke.
She's talking about how
Good
they can't
Nyborg, man.
be a relationship. Because obviously she has a boyfriend.
Wait a minute, which one is she? Is she the robot one? No.
She's the one, yeah. She gets sucked
So
up
she-
into the round spaceship.
So
Yeah.
she says, I might wake up one day and find you fucking a toaster or something. Or
Yes.
Yes.
I can't marry you. I might come home someday and find you're having a relationship with a toaster.
Yes.
And he says, you'll just have to trust me.
New Bomb turned down. This is my personal favorite story in the movie. It was my personal favorite one. Now, that's why
Well,
I
it certainly
love.
had a creepy ending, that's for sure.
Yeah,
The 17 one, you're thinking, he's got out, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll marry you on one condition. I want a Jewish wedding. What? Oh, I forgot. Are you circumcised? Perfect. Yes. Thank you for that. Thank you for that reminder.
Now, the violence for you guys, like, was it like the most shocking violence at the time, or are you just like, whoa, this is totally tame? But for me, it was like, this is really brutal at the time because like I hadn't yet still been like exposed to, I guess you could say, like Cannibal Corpse
Tom
artwork.
eating?
Oh, Tom, show it off again. Dude,
Nice sausage on there.
I hoard myself out to Pizza Hut.
I see a breadstick too. Ooh,
That's how
dude,
Tom
look at
manages to
hand.
keep that
Damn it, now I'm
Atlas-like
hungry.
physique and clear complexion.
Look at
That's
hand,
all I had for
buddy.
choices for pizza, so I feel dirty.
Dirty.
I'm so sorry.
Yes, and there's lots of them, and even this movie did let you know that there are gingers in the world. Because nowadays
Yes.
it seems like Hollywood's on mad ginger side. This movie emphasized on the
Hot
way of the ginger.
gingers.
Yes.
And they are.
Oh my!
Yeah,
Here.
This is the guy. Look at all the
Yep.
tools. I love the tools on the bedside table. Like
Yes.
the wrench, the screwdriver. Just a
I'm
nice
equipped for
touch.
maximum pleasure.
Oh.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
This is the better John Candy character here. Like, yeah.
Yes.
Well, this is where Harold Ramis shows up too. I can't remember his character's name, but Harold Ramis is.
He's one of the aliens, yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the aliens, and right away I'm just like, oh, that's Harold Ramis. Right then and there, I just knew. And
Yeah.
Man of War 665, the neighbor of the beast. And Man of War 665, the neighbor of the beast, guessed it. You guessed it for 665. Says, you see me now, a veteran of 1,012 scale wars. I've been living on the edge so long, where the winds of size queens roar, with toys too small to look at, yet far too large to see. 2 pieces complete my collection. Bring me the heads of Az and RMB. Oh, that was great, Man of War. Thank you for the 665. That was great. Thank you. Yeah.
I've got an angle.
70s, you could just keep the foes going. You mean?
Yeah, I'm just thinking there's a touch of Bender in this robot as well.
Oh, yeah.
Future Bender.
Oh yeah.
The part where he spins his finger around, that was pretty
Yeah,
hilarious.
Bender's got a lot to lean on this.
Bender the offender, the gender
Yeah.
bender.
I'm telling you, I've got an angle.
All
Reagan's too good for him.
Hand over fist.
You want to talk
Hand
about
over fist.
dude? Those fingers look like long toes. Seriously, look at those things. I'm like, oh.
Speak of the devil, there he is, hand over
There he
fist.
is.
Yeah. And doesn't Shear or whatever his name is, the captain, he's got such a shit-eating grin. Captain
Oh, yeah.
Stern.
Stern,
Such a
yes.
shit-eating grin the whole time.
And did anybody recognize the voice of the prosecutor?
It was Joe Flaherty, wasn't it? Or
It was
Was
John
it you-
Vernon.
he was the defense.
John
he was
Vernon,
the, John
yeah.
Vernon's the
Dean
prosecutor.
Wormer
Joe
was the
Flaherty.
prosecutor.
Yeah, from Animal House, yeah.
Because he's a Canadian too, of course. Just, Joe Flaherty was the defense, I think. Was the defense lawyer.
Somebody who's also part of this who doesn't get enough credit is Doug Kenny.
Yeah.
Like, he's somebody that never gets enough credit for everything he's been a part of between National Lampoon.
And he was
All this
affiliated
stuff,
with
yeah.
that whole gang. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
He was affiliated with the whole gang because a lot of people who worked on this movie. Obviously, you had people who worked on Meatballs. You had people who worked on Ghostbusters, obviously. So there was obviously a lot of crossover, and of course the National Lampoons. Yeah, you're right. I didn't even realize he was involved. Tom.
And SCTV, I mean, it's practically the entire cast of SCTV
Yeah.
are in
It
this,
is.
you know, so it's...
Yeah, it is kind of a SCTV kind of movie almost, in a weird way.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. This is when the pilot of the B-17 bails out, goes from the frying pan into the fire. This is the fire. It's an aircraft graveyard full of zombies.
It's
It's
brilliantly
like, oh,
drawn, this
God.
bit. Love the animation in this bit, the drawing. The
Yes.
artwork's just super.
And this is at times where it reminds me that it's a comic book movie as well, in a way, like because you got a bunch of like a comic book. There's a lot of small stories going on with the overall reaching arc going on, the greater story. But just look at the way this these look like panels that you could literally take straight off a page, straight up. This looks like comic book panels, and
Yeah.
I know they had some obviously actual comic arts involved, like but Bernie Wrightson, he was involved with this, and obviously he did many legendary arts for DC. He even did a few pieces for the death metal band Obituary as well. I know Abigor would know about that. Shout out to Abigor in the chat. Amazing Bernie Wrightson art, and he was hugely involved with this. And
So
yes,
the Navigator's voice, the actor who did the Navigator was Zal Janowski of The Loving Spoonful, 60s hit band, The Loving Spoonful. He did the Navigator voice. Little rock history for you there.
Hot
did not know
town, summer in the
In
city.
the city.
and
What
Soul
a day for a
Assassin.
daydream.
I think we all know this answer. Like most Toxic Tuesday flicks before us, this one is like, if they were to make it, which I granted Heavy Metal Magazine is being made today, it's so much more of a watered down. The people who are working nowadays are very activist driven. So
couldn't be made in North America. It might be able to be made in Europe. Maybe
You'll get a neutered version. Should something come out, it'll be a super neutered version that'll just want to take advantage of the brand recognition and nothing more. I mean, if any of the other guys got to say different, they can let me know, but that's what I see out of it.
Japan could make a version of this, but the art style would almost inevitably be
I
different.
think we can get away with this one.
I had the monetization off.
All right.
So
just outside.
I knew
Purple
to
robe.
turn it off for this
Purple
one.
robe, big
Just
pubes.
a bit outside.
Yeah. The purple robe, big pubes, obviously the queen.
Ball 4, ball 5, ball 6.
There are parts of this that have that very Saturday morning cartoon look to it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And then then she drops the robe, and you know it's not a Saturday morning cartoon.
And the cuffs match the collar.
Old He-Man looked like a Saturday morning cartoon, and you look at these characters, they look like they come straight out of He-Man, as I was mentioning earlier. So,
Well,
yeah,
and they
I
have
think
different
we're-
teams working on each story, too. I think that's part of the
Yes.
charm, but also the reason why we get such a difference in the variations of the
I
animation.
think this was modeled on you, Tom, wasn't it? The guy.
A younger version of myself, yes.
Yeah.
Man, Tom, you got shredded, dude.
Here
Oh, you
was
mean
the
Den? I
song.
thought he meant one of those ugly dudes off to the left there.
No,
Sorry.
no, no, no,
I
Dan, this is Tom right here.
That's Tom. He can eat pizza and it's still.
No, it's
I want to know who this is then, Tom. Tom, who's this then?
She's gonna be wrecked when I'm done with her.
But she does have
One of
a
Tom's
haircut.
many high school girlfriends.
Indeed. To the trial scene. Great scene. You just,
Oh, I love
Barbara?
so, but did he really expect Hanover Fist to turn into the ravening person that he did?
Yeah, it was completely
that was the
planned.
plan. I thought it was just that he was going to lie for him.
Yeah, because that's what he goes. He goes, "There you go, Hanover," and he gives him the money, and he's like, "Well, if you ever need me again, just let me know," or whatever it was. Yeah.
Because getting chased by the lunatic was far better way of getting out of this than just by being lied for.
Because it's just
plan.
yeah.
Cunning plan. I love the way he tricked him at the end as well. Excellent.
Ooh, I never actually heard this, Larry. Larry says Metal Hurler magazine France was the original heavy. I did not know.
Yeah,
that.
that's true.
Property,
Yes.
yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
It's Mebius and or whatever. Yeah, it's all French.
So
It's French.
did Canada be like, hey, we gotta have a response to that?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it was popular in
I
Quebec.
think they
as a
even
result.
didn't they even reprint some of the French comics, but they just translated them or whatever in heavy metal.
Possibly.
I kind of remember that.
I could not.
And I remember it from in the UK it being a French magazine that you could buy in there. I mean, not a lot of people spoke French, of course, but you could buy it. And because French, I liked a lot of French animation, like Asterix and Asterix the Gaul and stuff like that. It was all pretty good. I mean, a little bit further out, it was a little bit more adult than some of the American and British
That
stuff.
chin predates Jay Leno by a mile.
Yeah. See, half of heavy metal was reprinted. There you go. That's what I thought. Now that you mentioned that. Yeah.
Ah, there you go. Thank you, Hungry Boy.
The
Appreciate that.
Pentagon. This is how it looked at that aircraft that
This was a dance.
a drone aircraft that hit it.
The one that left the pinhole-sized hole in it.
That's right,
Not-
Wes. You know the one I'm talking about.
Okay, the surprisingly little debris. Yeah.
Yes, no
The
engines.
one the one that Barbara Olson mysteriously was able to make a phone call out of, and yet Ted
And
Olson
we're
showed up
down.
later
we're
with a
down.
wife that looked just like her. Oh wait, I'm sorry.
And this
I'm saying allegedly.
It
there
was nice
there
streaming
were
with you.
there were computer graphics screens. We had one in college, right around this time, that looked exactly like this. They could have literally drawn this onto a Hewlett Packard screen and then photographed it. So this just reminds me so much of 80s graphics.
Well, this is like the kind of animation they did in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy TV show, the British one, to make it look like it was
Yeah.
computerized, but it's actually animation. Yeah. Made it look
All right,
like
so
computerized.
Hungry Boy's got a very important comment. Says the Stern Hanover fist scene was the Bernie Wrightson sequence. All right, thank you, Hungry Boy. Yeah, Hungry Boy is an artist, guys, and he knows his shit. This man, yeah, he's a wealth of knowledge there. He should get a channel someday. Just saying, Hungry Boy, you should do it. But yeah, this is for me. This story is my bread and butter right here. I mean, the fact that they're going into a building, they're having a discussion, and before you know it, the ship comes down, hovering over them. I'm like, man, this is. I wonder, like, this is like something I feel like is like X-Files, Independence Day, like, and then boom,
There's
they
a
get sucked
wonderful
right up.
Yeah, there's a wonderful bit of timing where the robot professor is saying, "I don't believe there's any life in the universe besides us," as the shadow of that enormous spaceship completely covers the whole Pentagon.
Redshirt, trust the science. Trust the
I love when
Yeah,
when-
right.
I love when everybody says, "Oh, that's a relief." Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
right.
right. Yeah. Trust the science.
Conspiracy.
Oh.
And there's
Poor Ginger.
our boy.
I
who-
knew you couldn't trust her though. Yeah, he knew she was going to double cross him.
Okay, so when I saw this way back when, I actually was shocked. Like, I was actually shocked. I'm like, man, I thought she was gonna be cool. I
God,
thought
you're
it was
naive.
Clearly never seen any film noir.
Yeah.
At the time, no, I had
Never trust a redhead.
Yeah.
Right.
You can fuck them,
Even
but
in
never
black
trust
and white.
them.
Even in black and white, never trust them.
Exactly. You can fuck them, just don't trust them.
Yeah.
And West, whatever, cash for $2 with, well, You know what that is. Thank you, Wes.
Good about this is the fact that these large-breasted girls are willing to jump into bed immediately with the first person they meet, which it's just great. It's adolescent fantasy again.
It's a horn dog movie.
Or robot.
Yeah, or robot.
Or
it doesn't
robot,
really matter which, you know.
Dark Skippy, to answer your question on this, he was gonna work on something that was supposed to be heavy metal, but he ended up changing it so much. He ended up even changing the name, which I do respect. It was something for Netflix, I think.
Yeah, I've seen it. It looked more like, you know, the Tim Burton Frankenweenie, the second one.
Yeah,
and it looked like reminded me of heavy metal.
I didn't like he ended up changing so much. I think the name just got tossed away, which I do respect because, you know, if you're gonna change something so far off from what it originally was, you might as well change the name. So I didn't watch it, so I don't have no comment if that was any good. I can't remember what the name was called. I was just thinking about this morning, but at least they changed the name because most people are like, well, screw it. Come on, let's once again, let's take that established built annoyance and take advantage of the name. But no, he changed it. So respect to Robert Rodriguez. He's made a few mistakes in his life. I know. Look at you, Boba Fett, but we're not gonna go down that well. But at least he did that right. And Dave, with a direct donation. Dave for $5 says, pretty but dumb. Even though she was going to kill me, I kind of felt sorry for her. She was okay, just a little greedy. As for me, I put it down as a 2-day ride with one hell of a tip. Oh, he walked away to the bank all right. That's for sure. Thanks for having me reiterate that line. That was great.
It's interesting because it's also got an Escape from New York vibe in that sequence.
Yep.
So you've got that, you got The Fifth Element, you got 4 or 5 other movies that kind of have drawn on that since then. It's the influence is
well, and it can almost be argued that this was probably influenced a lot more like by Valerium and shit too, in a way, and some other things as well. Like, I mean, it's clearly this one feels like it has the most French influence on it, probably, if anything.
Oh, I think so, yeah.
Just because of the art style, the storytelling, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah,
I would love to see a renaissance, and this is wishful thinking, where we could have more of this like 2D like stuff. I would love to see it. It's obviously not going to happen anytime soon because 3D is still making mad gangbusters and money. But it would be cool to see like more 2D be prominent. It would just be cool to see it. Even if I'm not saying that 3D needs to go away. It'd be nice if there was a world where they coexisted. I would be okay with that.
The problem is that you need a small army of people. It's not necessarily much more or less expensive than computer animation to do this sort of hand-drawn, especially if it's full animation.
Yeah.
But the problem is you need 2 or 3 or 4 animators, a director, and 5 or 6 in-betweeners just to be able to produce all the frames. And then one guy who spends all his time photographing, cells in order to turn them into frames of film at 25 frames a second. This is what killed the Warner Brothers cartoon studio, the Bugs Bunny cartoons. They just couldn't afford to pay enough people enough money to be able to have the staff to make cartoons in that way, and I don't think that's changed. I think it may be cheaper to do a cartoon the way Pixar learned to do it and invented in many ways, but it meant that they needed a fewer people until they got into layouts and backgrounds and those other things, and then they had a lot of extra folks. But you don't see most of the people credited on a Warner Brothers cartoon. You see basically the director, a few the animators, the voice guy, the music, and that's about it. There's a ton of other people that were on those in that studio helping to make that cartoon happen.
Well, what happened is in the 70s, they actually sold it, and it didn't move. It stayed where it was, but they actually leased it out more or less. to DePere, I think the name was the company.
DePatie Freeling.
DePatie Freeling, yeah, thank you. And so then they turn around, and how they managed to make the company work is they would animate all the stuff for Warner Brothers, but they would also be outsourced to other companies.
Yes.
So they could amortize the cost of having the animation studio there.
Right.
And so basically, yeah, they just leased it out through Warner Brothers, and yeah, they made a deal with Warner to where they get to do some Looney Tunes cartoons and stuff like that. And this is where you can see where the quality of the cartoons went way down, because they stopped making them for film features and started making them for television.
Right.
So you can tell a huge transition in the animation. It went from 24 frames to 12 frames. You didn't get nearly as much stuff in the background as far as detail and whatnot. And it really kind of had a flatter feel to it.
And most of each character was actually painted into the background, which is what partial
That too,
animation does. But yeah, DePatie Freeling, just so you know, that company didn't exist until they got the contract signed to do the opening credits for the Pink Panther movie. Yes. So that became a 70s cartoon. The Pink Panther cartoon was they said, well, they had all the character sketches and everything. They knew how to make the Pink Panther. So they said, well, why don't we make a Pink Panther cartoon for Saturday morning? So they did.
Yeah.
And that's where that came from.
So they were getting money from MGM to do those. And then they created some of their own characters. And then they were also doing Warner Brothers and commercials and other things all at the same time. And they did a lot of movie intros, actually, not just the Pink Panther, but yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the part of the movie where your expectations are confounded, because she starts off naked and then gets dressed.
Yeah.
Subverting expectations.
Yep, but wait a minute. 70s. But what she gets dressed in is one heck of a party she's going to.
Certainly is. I know she's not
Tarna
Tarna
is the definition of you don't always have to be naked, or sometimes showing everything isn't sexier.
Indeed.
Right.
And she looks not only stunning, but brave.
Yep.
Indeed. An actual strong woman. A real one.
Man, she
Well,
actually
real
did
cartoon
kick
one.
a lot of ass in this movie. She actually did. Like, dude, she freaking killed the shit out of so many dudes in this movie.
Because it was just vengeance by then. She couldn't save the...
Her people were dead, yeah.
Yeah, it was just vengeance.
Right.
Good vengeance, though.
Oh, good thing.
They're a warrior race.
Indeed.
Die,
The purple people eaters.
See, this movie's not misogynist because the main character was
Not
just
really,
wrong.
with Tarna anyway, but I mean, the rest of it is like a big, huge teenage 12-year-old porn dream, but yeah.
It's full of strong women.
I guess that's where the rotoscoping comes in. With Tarna getting dressed, they actually got a model to do all that stuff.
Yeah, yep. And the intro had some rotoscoping in it too. Nick was right about that, but that house is actually a model.
Yes.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Nice.
Didn't they run out of time or money or something to do the animation? So they just...
It was easier, plus I think because you brought it up, like the scene where it blows up at the end, it was easier just to do it that way, I think.
I don't have the DVD of this, so it mentions in the internet that there's another sequence that wasn't put into the movie before the B-17 bomber sequence.
Neverwhere Land, and it's actually in, I believe it's in the, they have the work print.
Yeah.
And it was meant, they originally were planning, they were hoping to get, I think, Pink Floyd to do the music, because it was originally done to a loop of time.
Time, yeah.
And then in the version that we have on the video, though, it has different music, but it's like it. I haven't. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Influencing human evolution or something.
Yeah. It's a cool sequence, but it kind of takes you out of the movie. So it actually, it would probably would have hurt the pacing if they would have left it in.
Okay, I must look out for that one.
Yes, look at that. Man, Tom, you were looking good there.
Tom looks good.
I know. I'm riding like a camel dong thing.
Hey, we grew a mustache all of a sudden.
That saddle must really hurt, though. it's no.
My hemorrhoids are killing me.
I like how, like, when he pops up in the world, he's like, I can't be naked. He has to put on a thing.
Can't hang out with my dork hanging out.
I was looking through the crowd here for any cameos. I didn't see any, but the Enterprise is in it at one point, of course. There's a cameo.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. I was looking for cameo characters, but I didn't see any.
I can't remember which one's Eugene Levy because he does not sound like the Eugene Levy I'd recognize.
Doesn't he play Stern?
Yeah, I thought he played Stern.
Yeah. He's Stern.
Oh yeah, you're
He's
right.
putting a bit of a British kind of
I've
voice.
got an angle.
An angle.
Man, his voice changed a lot.
Yeah.
Nah, he's just good with voices.
He's a great.
Yeah, he is.
People
Actually,
are so
that's what-
used to him being the dad from American Pie, they forget he's really good at playing various characters.
Right. That was
Guilty.
what surprised me about John Candy doing both Den and Dan. He was better at voices than he got credit for.
Well, see, John Candy, you knew right away as John Candy. It's still great though because it's John Candy, so you don't care.
Doctor
Right when you hear
Dr.
it, oh,
Tongue
that's
to
John
you.
Candy. Like my girlfriend had never seen this movie, so I was playing it for her, and she right away was like, "Oh, hey, it's John Candy." She knew right then and there.
All of his gun collection.
Yeah, just add it to the collection.
This is before John Candy was a household name, though, in America, too.
Indeed.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
He
you're
hadn't
right,
been in
you're
any
right.
real big movies or anything yet.
No.
I see
it's
the Twin
Canadian
Towers in that shot.
SCTV.
Yeah, I
What
saw
was
the
that?
Twin Towers. The
It
Twin
kind of looks
Towers.
like
I
them.
mean, that's a
doesn't it?
very He-Man shot we just saw.
That's
Oh
awesome.
yeah, that is a very He-Man
Yeah.
shot. Yep.
It's there's something about it. I think it's boobs.
By the power.
Yeah, I know, right?
But I think all those 80s cartoons had that whole, like,
And the legs are wide open. The horns are a bit worrying.
The horns.
She's horny, 70s.
yeah, dude, that's how you know she's horny. Ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, that's the cove. He's got the He's got the coof.
He's got the,
He's got the coof.
he's got the sniffle.
Monkeypox.
Monkey packs.
Oh God! Oh God! We're not going down that road. No.
I think they couldn't make up their mind here whether they were going for a medieval thing, a trucker here.
Well, it's kind of a Mad Max thing, but doesn't this even predate, like, Road Warrior?
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
1980.
this is 81, I think.
81.
This is 81.
They
Yeah.
came out the
Pretty
same
close.
year then.
Same year, yeah.
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 But I don't know how long it took to do animation back then, but I would assume it took a while. So they probably got this made
They got
before
pirate.
Road Warriors fully.
Oh, this
made.
probably started production in, like, 78 or 79. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking this is still technically the old.
Oh, this is what I'm talking about right here. This is the French. This right here.
Well,
this is what I mean by that
Fifth
scene. Yeah.
Element-y.
Exactly. Well, this is what's coming from those French comic books, right?
That's
like,
right, yeah.
this is what I was talking about. Like this style.
Okay.
This very, very. You can kind of tell just by the way the line work is. Just everything is. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we're saying
Almost
comic
like Harry Crumb, isn't it? Or that's what am I thinking about the same
Kind
guy?
of. I was thinking more like a Mobius, but yeah, like. And that kind of a thing. But yeah, Harry does it with a little bit. Yeah, he's very similar to that. Yeah. Yeah. I suppose he probably does look at a lot of French stuff considering how much he was into women, but yeah.
and maybe human. Yeah, there are parts of this New York scene where it's a little bit of steampunk, a little bit of post-apocalyptic, a little bit of cyber, like.
Yeah, I was talking more the art style though. I was talking
I
the
know
line
you
work
were.
and
There's
all
Oh,
that
I know
stuff.
you
Yeah.
were. I
Now,
was just
now we're getting a bit
responding
of
to
Blade
comment.
Runner. A little bit Blade Runner.
Yeah, a little bit of Blade Runner. Yeah, there's a lot
Before
of vibes
Blade
going
Runner?
on.
Before
Yeah,
Blade Runner.
true. Before Blade, there's
That's
a
the
lot of
Empire
different
State
vibes
Building
going on
for
in New York
sale.
City. I mean, even their police station is just normalized where they got prostitutes in it. That's how normal life is, where the prostitutes hang out at the police station.
They all know who Harry is as well.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Harry is a very toxic man, even with that really weird hairline.
But yeah, this is what New York City is going to look like in 2 months. It's almost
Well,
there now.
you
warming.
have to understand, in 81, New York City did
Did
look
look
like
like
this.
Yeah.
The 70s, it almost went bankrupt.
Yeah.
And
That's
the
what all
feds
those
said-
70s movies are about.
Yeah, I
About
know.
How bad New York was.
Exactly. Death Wish ring a bell? You know.
Fucking King Kong showed up in 76. I mean,
Right. And
So-
30 what? 31 or 32? The first
that
one?
too.
It looked better in 32.
So Mrs.
It was in 76, he was hopping from Twin Tower to Twin Tower. And
Mrs. Rockfan lived in New Jersey for a few years in the early 70s, and she has some tales about the city, and it was pretty bad.
Isn't it like back then? It was like like what 1 in like 4 people was mugged, like had been mugged at least once or something like that.
Yeah, I heard that people actually used to carry.
Friends of mine in high school in the late 70s actually told me, if you're going to go to New York, make sure you look poor and straight. I said, why? I said, because if you look poor, they won't mug you. And if you look straight, they won't try and sell you anything.
Like,
are you saying, Wes?
Well, I was saying that I heard stories, from that era in New York that people actually purposefully carried around petty cash so that they wouldn't get killed if they got mugged. So they'd have something to give the mugger.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've got no problem looking poor and straight. It's my life story right there.
But I do like looking at mean construction trucks that have basically jaw-shaped mouths on them.
I don't know. I've looked like a perpetual 50-year-old, 12-year-old, so I don't know what the.
And there's her great little birdie pet, her pterodactyl bird.
And the music during this sequence was great. The
Beautiful.
orchestral.
Yeah. This is the music I was talking about. That's very similar to Dana's theme. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful stuff. Great sequence.
I
guess that would be Tarna's theme, actually. But the little girl does eventually become the new Tarna, so whatever. Spoilers.
That's right. Yes.
Right.
I
like where, with especially, and maybe it's obviously the way IMDb captures these shots here. A lot of these feel
these are obviously from the new 4K Blu-ray. You can tell.
Oh yeah, of course. What I was getting at is that a lot of them feel like drawings you could just have up on like a wall, like almost most of the shots in this movie. They feel like a great drawing or a great painting you would own. Like this looks like something that would be up on like the living room wall right here.
Well, they really were the comic come to life, man. I mean, really, if you look at it.
There's the date.
Yeah.
They put that kind of effort into it, yeah.
And that there's a couple of fairly extended scenes in the Tarna segment which are almost like, it reminded me of 2001, where you're traveling across this rather psychedelic landscape, because it's all about the landscapes, and there's this small figure on that white bird flying across the scene to give you a sense that this is an enormous scale that you're looking at, this enormous scene you're looking at. Yeah. And I almost was thinking, this is starting to drag a little. This is, but then it's like, that was the point of it. It's setting up, showing you something different from the tight character animations earlier. This is a big, broad, expansive segment, the final one, because it's the final one of the movie.
Yeah, this is the view from Tom's bedroom window.
It's beautiful.
I think it'll be fine since
that's my view from Trump Tower.
Trump Tower.
Huge.
It's huge.
Actually, I think Trump Tower's on the other side of it, isn't it? Somebody who's from New York, let me know. Because this is that's the thing that's that's where they have the ice rink and shit right there.
Yeah, Rockefeller
yes,
Plaza.
that's
Rockefeller, yeah.
Plaza. Yeah.
So it actually wasn't Trumpy, but right behind it, or is it to the other side there?
I can't remember. It's close.
All I know is in Chicago.
It's in that area there.
I've been up to the top of the Rockefeller. It's quite a good view from up there.
Oh yeah. Let's see. There's our So
speaking of Trump, that looked just like him on the phone.
Huge.
Is this gonna be huge?
That's okay, though. That's all right.
She's got huge boobs.
That's all right.
The best boobs. The best
many
boobs.
pairs before, but these are the hugest.
Many great boobs out there, but these are the best. Best ever.
Good American boobs.
Good American boobs. Made right here in America.
Saturday Night Live. Those big American breasts.
Yeah, don't get too many ideas, Shell. Don't get too many ideas.
I was looking for my Tarna figure. I actually have a figure of her in one of the zombies, and I couldn't find it.
Oh, what?
It's in a box somewhere, yeah.
Her eye color is the same as her craft, her bird there. Green.
It's because they're connected.
That's right. They have a connection.
This is like Avatar before Avatar.
She's rubbed her ass on him so many times.
Well, wouldn't you do anything for that ass?
I'd clap those ass cheeks.
She kind of liked that.
Oh yeah. Well, she wanted her neck to be looked at. She wants to get.
No, she wanted her hair pulled. I meant.
She's her hair pulled. Oh yeah.
She's definitely into the rough stuff. She's a warrior race woman.
Yep.
Look at the size of that sword.
It's a big Sword.
Big sword.
Big sword.
I see you're into the rough stuff too.
I'm Mr. Brian Yoderfer. Wait for it. $25 says get a bag of that good Nyborg. All right, I will.
Tarna's the type
Brian,
of chick that needs a
$25.
black eye and a good choking before she even gets wet. So,
Just what,
What's the first thing?
kidding.
You know,
Soulless
the warlord. The first thing the warlord does when he has her brought to him is she's confined, stripped naked, and he whips her.
She loves that.
Soul Assassin, I just need 2 minutes.
She's like, please, sir, can I have another?
Right.
That if he's not doing it hard enough, he's like, you fucking bitch, come on.
Okay, there's no way you get comfortable riding on a bunch of big bugs. They seem slimy and smelly and nasty. Like, there's nothing that seems good about riding on those bugs. But I guess you got to work with what you got.
Well, they're
Those are
economical.
big ass bugs.
Yeah, dude.
Tastes like
Straight
lobster.
up. Frickin' I see.
At
those
least they
things, I'm
don't
like,
eat them.
True. They can.
True.
All those people get eaten by those bugs. Imagine that was just our. Hey Tom, I'm coming to Wisconsin. Let me get on this giant hornet I got.
Of course, we would be the first place to have giant fucking hornets.
Yeah, we would.
The first place, like a giant fucking mosquito the size of a cat or some shit.
Oh, see, I thought we were gonna have like a mosquito like the size of like a
This is
Chevy
bouncing
Caravan.
all over the
This
place.
is Amber Heard's attorney, right?
Actually, it's funny because this guy, this segment here, this guy looks like we were talking about Warner Brothers animation. This looks like something straight up out of a WB classic
does.
Looney Tunes.
Yep.
Like this whole sequence is kind of like a big Looney Tunes
line-
cartoon.
The
It
lines
really
on
is.
the forehead and the eyebrows pointing up in the middle. It's very Looney Tunes. Yeah.
Just the whole design in general, like the whole cartoon, the way everybody's got the accentuated noses and chins and ears and everything. Yeah.
What's funny is the pencil in front of him looks like it's a real pencil. The way it's been drawn.
It's probably part of the background. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is going to be. That is going to be background.
All right, we got an answer here, guys. Trump Plaza is on 8th Avenue near 59th Street. Rockefeller's is near 5th Avenue and 49th Street. Thank you,
I have no idea. I was going by Home Alone. I ain't never been to New York. I'm just
That's
going by
movie
movie
magic, Tom.
I know. I didn't know. I thought they were close by. The way it makes it look in the movie, motherfucker gets there pretty quick.
Christian Delore for another Canadian $5.
For a fucking 12-year-old, I mean, shit.
Hey, Nick, shout out to 70s and Tom Connors. Those guys are walking Encyclopedia Britannica in real time, and they've been there.
No, I haven't been to New York. That's the problem.
Oh, I've been there. But Christian's a good guy. He was on my show
Great guy.
yesterday. He's a great guy. I had him on the show. He was brilliant.
I'm gonna meet him right before I head to Vegas. So, welcome, Michael.
Sadly,
Beacon.
I have not been able to travel too far.
No.
Well, maybe
Vegas is like the farthest from home I've ever been.
Well, maybe the Dicks meetup, Tom. That'll be an easier
Maybe.
one for you.
Like
to
when I
slide
stepped on
in.
the plane, I turned to nobody behind me and I said, "This will be the farthest I've ever traveled from home." Like from Lord of the Rings or whatever.
Yep.
If I take one more step.
Just then, he was hit by a falling elephant.
It's okay, Frodo. I will suck you off when we get there.
That's right.
It's gonna be real good.
Share the load.
Share the load. Oh my God.
I can't make you come, sir, but I can help you.
He's gonna have to wear one of those like breathing masks up there, just so like when he's about to freaking let out the load. Just to contain the volume. Oh, Sam. Oh,
Sam, you're just greedy and you want it all for yourself.
Sam, come on. I gotta share some with Gollum too.
So how come this show always ends up in the homoerotic sphere?
That's because there's no homoeroticness in this video, so we just got to make it up.
There's none in this.
Right.
Certainly was in the.
Well, until we
Lord
get to
of the
that one
Rings.
Prince guy who's like, you die, she dies, they all die.
Guards, castrate him.
Guards, castrate him. Yeah.
Guys, it's our wait for it duty to make things homoerotic.
You said duty.
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 Yeah,
Duty.
Oop, darn.
It said duty. Oh, Statue of Liberty. The place where it could have all been so good. They could have lived happily ever after. But then they didn't because she got greedy. She got greedy, man. All she had to do was compromise, and she could have lived. And then there goes no one.
So I'm too busy looking at this.
Yeah, I was like entranced by Tarna there. I was like, side boob.
Okay,
Yep.
I'm sure everyone in the chat was just like, they
Can almost see your butt.
Hey, Leva, look at what you can think.
There's Devo.
Yep.
Yes. I remember seeing, I'm like, hey, that looks like Devo.
That was a pretty neat scene.
I like his robot hand or whatever it is.
This is like their Star Wars scene here, which is kind of cool. It was like their answer to the Cantina scene, which was kind of neat.
Yep.
Well, after Star Wars, been blowing up in the sci-fi, this kind of like say, hey guys, we want to do sci-fi too, but we got definitely.
Oh, guarantee the only reason this movie came out is because of Star Wars.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and then they were able to take it to a next level by making it basically a straight up. I don't know if it was ever properly rated R at the time, but basically it hits it. In modern times, this would be a hard R.
No, this is the first R-rated comic book movie. Most people forget that.
Oh, it's
Fritz the Cat wasn't based on a comic book. No,
based on a comic strip. And that was not rated R.
Is it not? I thought it was.
No, it's triple X. Or
It was
just
rated X
sorry.
at the time.
Rated X, not triple X. Jesus Christ. I knew what I meant.
That's a
It's
different movie,
rated
Tom.
X, but eventually became NC-17. So yeah, it was rated.
Tom knows all about triple X. So.
Now, when did 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat come out? Because that was rated R.
That was
It's different here because in Britain
sequel.
X was an
Yeah, it was. That was 74. So actually, 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat would technically be. That was 74.
An adult cartoon, that's for sure.
But Fritz the Cat is one we definitely got to do on here.
Okay.
If you guys have never seen Fritz the Cat.
Yeah.
Actually,
Fritz the
I
Cat
actually like the sequel better. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
What, Fritz the Cat was 70 or 71 because we were
71, I think it is.
We were living in Massachusetts. My parents actually went to see it on the recommendation of our neighbors, and it's probably the only movie that I know of that my parents have ever walked out of.
Oh, my parents would never have gone to see that. Never.
Yeah, it was aimed directly at them.
I remember my mother went to see Midnight Cowboy thinking it was a Western and she left. So.
Oops.
Oops.
Not quite.
I'm trying to remember who told me the story about they took the kids to Fritz the Cat thinking it was Felix the Cat.
Ooh, that's a bad mistake.
And I think luckily the story at least ended when the theater owners wouldn't let them in because they had kids, but they were like arguing for like forever, like, but it's a cartoon, it's a kids, but it's not.
Not that kind of cartoon.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's put it this way: if we watched the trailer on here, Fritz the Cat, we'd probably get in trouble. But
yeah,
no, it's actually on YouTube. We watched it on another show I was on before, but it's even the trailer is pretty racist.
Yep.
Even by today's standards, like because now it has the addition of being racist and sexist and
right. That's actually worse for it now.
Yes, it's actually technically worse now. Like then it was just kind of titillating. It was because of the nudity and the whole subject matter, but yeah. They even have a sequence where the United States gets split between the blacks and the whites.
Wow, I forgot. Oh, that happened? I don't remember that.
There's a touch of the Judge Dredd's here now. So.
That might even be in the sequel. I'm trying to remember. See, the problem is 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat is actually a better movie than the first one. The first one's just kind of meanders. Okay. The second one actually kind of sets it up as like stories set in the different decades. So it's a little bit easier to follow, but like, because he even meets Hitler in the second one. Or is it the first one he meets Hitler? I think it's the first one. I can't remember now because I watch them all the time. When I watch them, I watch 1 and 2 together. So you almost got to, because I mean, they're not made by the same people even, but it's the same voice and shit actor doing Fritz. So.
All right.
Because Ralph Bakshi did the first one, and then just the second one was not done by Bakshi.
Toxic shot here. Toxic shot here.
Definitely. The Pentagon, yeah.
There you go. Toxic shot. That was totally, definitely not done, by coincidence. That was. Like,
Fritz is Felix's edgy cousin. No, Fritz is actually created by somebody we just mentioned earlier, Crumb.
Crumb, yeah.
Robert Crumb, yeah.
Hey, there's our background.
A smiley face.
Picture.
I laughed
Yeah,
so
it is a great
hard.
picture.
I love
That's
this.
isn't that? I think that's the back of the record album too. If not, I know it's the back of the Steelbook.
These
Yeah.
like if you did a vinyl, like a vinyl re-release, you could do like images like this, like have like a gatefold vinyl, and you
Well,
can have,
that
like,
should be
many
the
still-
record right there, actually.
Yeah.
That could be the front cover, but a lot of these images could have be like a photo book like equivalent, and it could be like 20, 30 pages of like an art gallery thing. I think that 2-in-1 of art gallery mixed with vinyl, dude, that would be insane to own, especially having this art on a
The
big
picture
book.
disc.
Like
This
thing.
could be the picture disc.
That's what I mean. Yeah, the picture disc itself. Yeah.
Okay,
That
I
would
see
be
what you're
good,
saying.
yeah.
The picture
Yeah.
did. Okay. I
Yep.
can
And
see
then
that.
you flip it over, and the other side is the Lochnar.
Yes, yeah. Well, here's the doctor heading over the table.
Well, it would probably have to be 2 discs anyway, so you could have one be the Lochnar, one be the ship, and
Well, you gotta have 2 discs because you want to have the actual I guess you could say regular music soundtrack, of the Black Sabbath and the Blue Oyster Cult. But
Well,
you
there's
also wanna
tons of it.
Yeah, there's tons of that, but then there's also
I think it's a
Elmer's
dual
soundtrack
album
as
anyway
well.
on LP. Is my point. I think it's already a dual
soundtrack
album.
and the soundtrack.
I have both. I have the what I call the pop soundtrack, with all the pop music on it. Which ironically I brought up earlier on Mead. Do you guys know what the biggest song on the soundtrack is chart wise?
Don Felder.
Nope.
No, okay.
Journey. Come on, guys, open arms. Give me.
That's the song I like least on the soundtrack.
You got I know, right? You got a heavy metal soundtrack. The biggest song on the album is the fucking Journey song.
Yeah.
That's as bad of a decision as the Grammys do with Metallica and Jethro Tull.
Well, it was just one of those things. Like that's what I was bitching about earlier. I'm like, you get Journey on the album, and what do? Of course, you get them to do the sappy song, but you don't get them doing a kick-ass song too. I mean, come on.
Like, Tull
I
did
like
some
Journey.
metal albums, Tull did some metal albums.
Hey, listen, I like Journey. I do.
Didn't that start like some kind of riot 70s? I mean,
That's right. You'd never say Tull or a metal band. It causes riots.
That song just does not. It doesn't make sense for that song to be the most recognized on the soundtrack. Once again, it doesn't.
but that's what the public.
it was just the one that went to the.
did.
I think it was like a number
Charts.
6 or 3 on the charts or whatever. Yeah.
No,
Johnny,
you're
the
right.
Don Felder I guess you could call it the title track.
Yeah.
Was a
He
bit
did-
of a hit.
Yeah. Well, there was a couple hits on the album, but it just
Yeah,
it being the
Mob Rules.
chart wise, it was like, yeah.
Mob Rules was huge. I mean,
That might be-
that was when the second wave of heavy metal was coming in, and when the second wave happened, Dio's Black Sabbath was kind of leading the charge, and that
It
opened
hit
the gateways for the Saxons of the world.
Don Felder's hit 43 on the Billboard Hot 100, 5 on the top tracks,
Oh, here you go.
and
Finite.
42 on the U.S. Cash Box, whatever the hell
I
that
might
is.
be the only person in the world that owns a Don Felder album.
Okay.
Airborne.
Really?
Well-
Cheap Trick
Yeah.
song was huge? I did not know
I
that.
don't remember
Reach
that
out.
being a hit.
Reach out.
Not in
was
the
huge.
U.S., I don't think.
I don't remember it being
Where
a
are
hit.
you
But
from?
Open
Finite?
Arms hit number 2 in across the board, so it actually hit higher than I thought.
It wasn't a big hit, but it was actually not even. Well, it was written by Pete Comita, who was in the band for a while as a bass player, but it wasn't really written by any of the normal band members, so it was almost a cover in a sense.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like it charted in the U.S. Reach Out, but it was released as a single.
Yeah.
But here's the thing with Cheap Trick: they are very popular in the Midwest.
Yes, they're huge.
Yeah.
out
Like
there.
they have like their
Huge.
own kind of like following and shit like that.
That's the way
So
bands used to be. Pre,
Yeah.
internet bands
like
had
Wisconsin, Chicago, Illinois, that whole belt area, they're big. That's
Up
why at the end of
north.
that one song, it's "Hello Wisconsin."
Yep, that's right. No, especially because there's a town, Tom, you may have heard of it, called Rockford, very very north of Illinois,
Illinois.
not far.
Yep.
That is a big spot for Cheap Trick to
Well,
play.
that's where they come
when
from. And,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
they did their one of their anniversary DVDs. They did a gig there for that.
Steve Miller's really big through here too,
I think that was the Metro Center.
because he was from
I think-
Milwaukee originally.
He was a Texan.
Oh, dude, look at this! Come on.
He was raised
Come
there, but I
on.
think he was born in
Oh, he was
Milwaukee.
born there, yeah. Because I knew he grew up in Texas. And
Yeah,
then he went to
But
the
he's
Bay
really
Area.
big through here. Yeah,
Then he went to the Bay Area to to get started on his music. So yeah,
A
he's
lot of
from
people
Milwaukee.
got-
Yeah, you're right. Well, there you go. He's from Milwaukee.
Milwaukee,
Look at
as
that
the
smile. Look at that
Algonquin
smile.
used to call it.
Yeah.
Ted, if I had to guess,
I did not know
Rockford
that.
and Aurora are probably around maybe 45 minutes to an hour away from each other. That's my educated guess. I could be wrong. I've never really looked it
Aurora.
up. But
Aurora is
I'm-
actually like what, 2 hours north of Chicago, somewhere
well,
there.
from where I am, it's like an hour.
Because actually, I'm not
15.
too far from Aurora. Actually, I mean, I'm not like right near it, but like Aurora is actually only like a 2 hour drive for me, and I think Chicago's like a 4 hour drive.
I've never been to Aurora. I've been to Oriole.
Because I know it's closer. Aurora's up closer to the border, not like right on the border, but if my memory is right.
Hold on. Seriously, Tina? Are you serious on that?
Oh,
Rockford?
lovely.
Probably.
Well,
That's
Chicago's
weird.
bad. They've been trying to keep it out of Kenosha and Milwaukee. That's how bad it is in Chicago. They're coming up, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Well,
There's
hot
that
damn.
shit-eating grin.
I've got an angle.
It's like the father in American Dad. That way he's with the chin.
See, my first time when I was in Aurora.
Is it south? Well, thank you, Tina. I have no idea anymore. I know I went on a fucking road trip and I thought I went through Aurora, but
Well, Aurora is after you pass through like Elgin, St. Charles, and Batavia, and then you hit Aurora, and of course that's where obviously Wayne's World took place. But to see where they banged their heads at Queen, that was in Berwyn, because I used to live by that stack of cars when I was a kid. I remember used to rave all the time about that. I'm like, oh my god, I live by that stack of cars from the movie in Wayne's World. So that particular part was Berwyn, but yeah.
oh no,
Aurora-
she's right. Yeah. Oh, I mean, of course she's right, but now I see. Yeah, because see, for me, the way I got to go to Chicago, it's kind of like a way around kind of thing. Elgin is what I was thinking of, and then Aurora, because like Aurora's like just south of there. Yeah, so like if I'm coming through from Wisconsin, it's actually on the way there technically.
To Elgin, but I've also
That's
been to
why
the
I thought it was
original town
north.
in Scotland because it's called Elgin. It's a hard G. It's not Elgin. It's Elgin.
Now, 70, since you know.
Is that how they say it there?
That's how you say it in Scotland. Yeah.
Since you know.
Oh, in Scotland.
Scotland. 'Cause
Right
that's where
next-
the original Elgin is from.
Elgin.
Anyway.
Well, right
It's a
next to
Scottish
Elgin is St. Charles, and in St. Charles is where Accept is playing in October.
Jethro Tull. Haha, Judas Priest are playing there.
They're playing Waukegan. Judas Priest is playing
No,
Waukegan.
I saw on the set and the tour poster it said St. Charles.
What?
Yeah.
So they're
Priest
doing
are playing
both?
St. Charles. Yeah.
Wow.
I gotta try and get to that one. man. I
And
gotta
yes,
try and get to
Abigor, Berwyn, as in Spangler. I lived in that Berwyn. I absolutely did.
So
That
you
was,
got
it
Accept
was a big deal. Dude, it was a big deal at the
and
time to brag
Priest.
about that. I got the Wayne's World Tower of Cars and Svengoolie in my town. That was cool. And of course, we were right by Cicero, which is a neighborhood that, well, a certain Al Capone really loved. But anyways, we've gone off the rails, like back to the heavy metal.
Yeah, the something that I didn't get in because you were talking about this is fine, but going back to that courtroom scene, it occurs to me that Hanover Fist, when I saw that, watching it yesterday and today, I was getting a very much of a Jekyll and Hyde feel, and then I thought of the really terrible movie, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, where they had Dr. Jekyll in there. And when I was like, okay, but that's his Mr. Hyde. That's what he turns into. So there's another maybe possibly an influence that this had on a later movie. Who knows?
See, heavy metal was predictive in more ways than it probably ever even intended to be. It was just meant to be a movie of sex, drugs, rock and roll, big vehicles, big animals, big creatures, big ugly creatures, and then there is the male gaze amplified.
Yep.
For
I just posted the date in the private chat for you, Nick.
And that would November. Oh, November. Oh, at the see that looks like that says Missouri.
Oh, it's not Illinois. Shit, sorry, you're right.
It's okay.
Different St. Charles.
A little bit of a drive there, huh?
Shite. No.
Slight
I would have liked
difference.
to have gone for Priest and Queensryche. That's a
Well, they're
great lineup.
playing Green Bay, Waukegan, Moline. They're all near
Yeah.
you.
Waukegan is not far from me, but I got to look into the ticket prices for that and the timing of that because Accept is kind of the bigger priority right now.
Sure. Anyway, sorry.
Anyways, let's carry on with heavy metal. Oh, dude, this is another gorgeous shot. Once again, amazingly awesome shot. That was once again be a nice flag, another nice great poster. Just I love the green in this. Like, whew, the lime green is like my favorite green.
Yeah.
Just keep telling that mountain, do not come.
Unfortunately, it came.
Yeah. Oh, look. That's the result. Like, this is like the result. Imagine if Randy Marsh was at that volcano area saying, "Do not come," and then Randy Marsh let out a big load, California way style, and that's what guys like that get drenched in. You see those things on the ground, like, oh no, I got drenched in because of Randy and his come for California way.
There's a weirdly random rock.
New bomb, yes. Vegas is priority. It is absolutely priority. Dude, what kind of rock is that? Like,
I know, is it artificial? What purpose does that serve?
What's weird is that the landscape in these scenes is absolutely covered in this weird blue-green plumbing. And you have no idea what all of it does. It's just everywhere. It's like what is this? Mines pumping water?
Yeah.
What?
There's no real purpose.
Yeah, it's just there. Yeah, that's one big ass rib cage.
Dude, imagine that thing was moving. Now, if you saw that moving around the world, you ain't outrunning that. You're gonna die straight up. If you try right after that, and of course, this lady, she just shows up and she just lets it all hang out.
One of the best parts of the movie. We're not going to see that now. Oh, damn, they moved on.
Full frontal on that scene.
Oh, I love how they bumped into the ship into
No harm done, though. No harm done.
Nice landing, dude. Yeah.
They're thinking, oh, God, it's going to be a totally clean landing. It's okay. It's not a big deal. It's going to be fine. But, man, they fuck shit up in there pretty damn badly.
There's the plumbing again for no apparent reason.
Dude, that is just like, imagine like living in this world, like where everything's like green and everything is super like, I don't know, I guess it's sci-fi mixed with cyber, mixed with dystopia, mixed
an
with
effective alien landscape for sure.
Judgment Day, mixed with alien landscape, Judgment Day. This is all the dystopias rolled into one. And then imagine walking by a building that looks like that. That thing looks like an alien's cooch right there. I wish I was wrong, but seriously, that thing looks like, look at that thing. Look far up. You tell me otherwise.
I think it's transitioned, Nick. It's transitioned.
It's a very inclusive building. Okay, so that's a very inclusive crotch.
Yeah. Did anybody ever watch on PBS the Secret City? The guy who would draw the weird big worlds.
Tell us.
No.
Well, like there was always like weird plumbing and like it was all futuristic. That's what's kind of what it reminded me of for a minute. I had to go and look it up. It's called Secret City.
Because in the future, plumbing will be weird and not functional.
Yeah, totally 80s, 90s. But yeah.
Sadly,
so this guy's going to be dead 3 seconds from now.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's gonna die. He's gonna die.
Hi, honey, I'm Hulk.
Yeah. It's funny because like no matter where she goes, that ball's just like, look at me. I'm the ball. Look at me.
But yeah, now I think about it, the fact that the car comes out of the spaceship, he's driving home from work. That's the whole point. Now I think about it, he's just driving home from work like we all do.
Guys, we let it ride.
Ride.
Let it ride.
Take that ride on heavy metals. I think is the line he's quoting there from the song.
I'm pretty sure he is, but I wanted to go the other way.
You went the other way.
I went the reach around.
This is a special girl. This is the special girl. She's
Yep.
very special.
Well, she
She's the
evolves. She evolves, and she becomes basically She-Ra, and kicks actual strong women ass. And you're not thinking like, and she gets a couple close calls. It's not like she is no Mary Sue. Like she definitely gets her ass handed to her. I think that she gets cut up pretty good. Her and her pet bird pterodactyl hybrid.
She gets slit up a treat.
Well, she's the little girl is that Tarakian's successor.
Right,
She dies
to
destroying
everything. That's
the
it.
Lochnar,
She's the key to
and
everything.
then this one suddenly goes outside after the house explodes, and a bird appears to her, and that's when she becomes the next Tarakian, and the power of evil is controlled for another generation.
Never destroyed, just controlled.
Just control. That's it.
It can only be
That
controlled.
one's-
It can't be eliminated.
This reminds me of that one planet in Guardians of the Galaxy.
So,
Why is it? It's at the tip of my tongue. Damn it! Someone refresh me in the chat.
To me, that looks like a steampunk Borg cube.
yeah. If the Borg were funky.
Hit the ball.
But the thing is, if in the future when
That's the
Thank you,
mobiest
Bob.
looking shit if I ever saw it.
yeah,
Thank
when
you.
we-
Nowhere. This looks like
Nowhere.
nowhere.
That's
Maybe.
right.
Yeah.
If we, in the future, when we build massive interstellar space stations, will they actually look like this? I mean, would you build this? Like, what would possible
Probably.
use or function would it? Yeah, probably.
No, I'm serious because it would start as something simple and then people would just keep building shit onto it.
Just gonna build an extension here. Yeah,
All right.
I want
So
a patio.
Christian Delorme sent us a few super chats. Thank you for being patient, Christian. Another one for Canadian $5. Thank you. Dick's Meetup. I got 100 Canadian pesos for beers and cheers. First come, first serve, dude. That's
not come.
long, hard, and strong. And then another.
Oh, he's gonna come.
He's gonna come
That's
first.
what I want him to do. I want it to be huge. It says for another $2 on Toxic Tuesday. What's the hugest thing you saw? I mean, I
Boobs.
Boobs.
guess. There's
Definitely.
your answer.
Boobs.
There's your answer, Christian. Thank you.
Space trucking. That's a good one.
Now notice something I did in this segment. He's not green because he hasn't been turned evil yet. None of them have.
No.
It's the eruption from the mountain from the Lochnar that converts them all and turns them into the evil race that they
The
become.
barbarians.
The evil barbarians, yes.
And it's the head, that guy there, I think, that's
He
voiced
is.
by
He is, yes, he's
Vlasta
the-
Vrana. As I said,
He
my
looks like a
missus was at
bitch.
high school with him.
He looks like a bitch. Dude, but look at like how his hairline's like right in line with his chin.
He looks like he's in a progressive rock band.
Definitely one of the aging ones. He looked like if Dream Theater were like on their last legs. and
I
they
thought it
were
was
past
David
the-
Crosby for a minute. I
It's
mean,
David Crosby. That's right. The walrus of rock. He's the
I
lead
can't
staff.
die.
On lead staff, David Crosby.
I'm David Crosby. I'm 162 years old.
He's old.
The devil won't take me and God forgot about me. I mean,
The walrus of rock.
he's had how many fucking heart attacks and shit?
Not enough.
I know, right?
The next one's the charm. He's an ass, but never mind.
Oh.
Loudmouth ass. But,
It's old Nick. Yeah, you know what? Channel Strike, you might have been right. He did have a very similar facial hair, and I mean, no, see, I would not let my hair bald like that, where I'd have a thing like that. I mean, I would just shave my head. I've already been very out in the open. I'm not one of those dudes who would keep it. I would just say
Hold it
fuck
on that
this
one.
shit and get rid of it. So, and I've had a shaved head. Dustin's known me long enough; he can vouch for me that he's seen you with a shaved head a few times. So I'm not afraid to do it if I have to.
parts of
Somebody
you are
go
still
back to
shaved
that
today, Nick.
B-17.
Are they not?
What's up?
Parts
go
of
back
you are
to the
still
B-17?
shaved now.
Not answer that question. damn it! All right, what were you saying, Red Shirt?
Smooth
I'm just
criminal.
wondering if you could go. I don't know if you can go back to that B-17,
I
but
can.
yeah, that and admittedly, it's kind of dark because obviously it's silhouetted almost against the moon. But from what I used to build models, and I'm very familiar with this plane. They actually took the time to figure out how to draw that airplane.
See, now this is something I think is rotoscoped here, is the planes.
It might be because
I think so.
that is quite accurately rendered, and all of the pieces and parts are pretty much where they belong on that plane.
assuming they've
And
dropped
that's
their
not
bombs
trivial.
already.
That's not trivial. You would need to get some good photographs to be able to replicate that. So that was kind of cool. I thought they did that very well.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
What?
They
actually
probably used
put
old
in
war
work?
footage.
They might have.
Oh, Tom, good idea. Yeah, I could. You know what? I can see that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Get to the next 170s. Come on. Of
That's
course,
a beautiful picture. What's awesome is that's probably the actual background they used, like an image of it, but I mean, the whole thing, because we probably only seen it in chunks in the movie, I think.
You will worship me.
You shall worship
Okay.
me.
By the power of memory.
Grey memories.
There is
Grey boobs.
There is one long shot. There is one long shot before the woman swims across the lake to get to
Oh,
it.
hey.
You get to see
Is
the
this-
whole temple, if you will. And that's the
That
one
looks
time
like
in the movie
a-
you see it all.
This looks like a cover right here with the ship. It looks like
It's
a cover.
It does.
Maybe-
It's a
maybe-
lobby
That's
card.
definitely
though.
a background plate
It's
there,
like a
yeah.
lobby card, though.
Yeah, it's a lobby card, but they're taking these straight off the images from the background plates and shit, yeah.
Steven right here says they use a scale model for those shots. All right, well, there you go, guys. Look at that. Chat coming in hot, knowing with their knowledge, too. Love it.
Didn't John Candy do that guy's voice, too?
The barman.
I don't
I think
think
so.
so.
Was it? No.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he's just two characters.
It's hard to tell. I mean,
I can't remember now.
I could
He-
I
he
could
did-
see the
he did
animation.
Dan and Den, and he did the robot. I think he did the sergeant in the first episode, the New York one. I think he was behind the desk. He only has
Yeah.
like one
Okay,
line,
maybe that's
two
what I'm
lines.
thinking of. I was gonna say,
Yeah,
I know he had like another voice too besides that, yeah.
yeah. I don't know who did this.
I'm
one.
looking it up.
Trying to look.
Looking up John Candy's voices in this, what he did. Because I listed it, I saw it earlier. Give me a second.
See?
There's just so many.
No,
voices
Cedric
in it.
Smith is the bartender.
Cedric Smith. Of course,
Cedric Smith. Refresh me on Cedric Smith.
No idea. He's just some actor.
Okay, maybe that's
He's
why.
English.
Yeah.
Yeah, so John Candy did the
Oh,
desk
do you know
sergeant in Harry Canyon, Dan and Den both. He did the robot in So Beautiful and So Dangerous. Those are his roles.
Okay.
Do you know who Cedric Smith was in the X-Men animated series? He was Charles Xavier.
Oh, he did the voice?
He did the voice. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's
You know what?
pretty cool.
You're right, because I remember seeing that name in the credits. Like, who the
I
hell is
retract
Cedric
I retract
Smith?
that.
Cool. That's
I
pretty
guess.
cool.
Yeah. So, okay, Wes, I saw your
Moving on.
comment how different all the stories are. Wes, which
Yeah.
is your favorite story of the small stories in this?
God, it changes over time. I honestly think this one right here, the spaceship one, is my favorite. Even with all the drug references and stuff, it's just it's such a fun story. And the stuff with, every part of that story I love. I love how of course, government conspiracies. I'm into that. And then, when the Donald Rumsfeld dude jumps across and goes pretty, and just starts ripping her clothes off and getting a little inappropriate with her, I guess. It's just in a meeting like that, a what the fuck moment like that just had me cracking up. And
You got to
and
update
then,
your references, Wes. That's now Anthony Fauci's character.
Okay, whatever.
I think
Yeah.
he got crazy. He was actually completely appropriate with her. That's what I would have done.
Yeah.
Dr. Anorak, I think is.
There you go.
and then the drug references like the straw coming down and sucking him up. It's fucking hilarious.
Great.
It's just very much of its time.
Yeah.
And then the Starfield sequence with the the Felder song. It's a very cool sequence.
Oh, another great shot here. No, love this shot. Seeing all the lightning come down and now embracing the full power. Hell yeah. I love this shot. She's basically gone full rogue with her hair too.
Yep.
Yeah, full rogue, man.
Beautiful
Except
shot.
she can be touched. So guys, you can still dream. Unlike Rogue, well, there'll never be anything there, guys. So enjoy this shot while you can.
Yeah, that's another like He-Man, Thundercat type scene right there.
Yep. Tom knows quite a bit about He-Man. Do we know, Tom, if there's anyone who worked on the Masters of the Universe that was influenced by heavy metal? Or is this
I don't know so much about heavy metal, but Conan more so, yeah. But
okay, yeah, Conan too.
But I mean, that was kind of a standard of sword and sorcery, kind of just generic. Trying to think of the word. There's a word for it, but yeah, but boobs.
But boobs.
Everyone's talking by having something, and then they get distracted.
No,
Words,
that's the thing is
words,
it's tough to pick. It's tough to pick a favorite story in this because of all those like Twilight Zone movies and Tales from the Crypts and all these movies where they do these like stories together. Like, oh yeah, it's usually easy to pick out your favorite one or two. I love all of these. I mean, I love them all for different reasons, so it's real tough. I mean, if I had to pick, probably somewhere between Tarna, Stern, and the Aliens, like those three at the they pace this perfectly, right? Like, I mean, the first 4 or 5 stories that are in here, like they would have been interchangeable, like they're all that good, but they did save the last 3 for, the best for last, right? Like, so I don't know. Like, to me, it's one of the most solid of these kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Vignette type films or whatever. Yeah. Collections. Anthology. That was the word I was looking for.
Anthology.
Yeah. So it's confirmed Shellback TJC is indeed Chuck Norris because he can touch Rogue.
Well, what's great about heavy metal, I mean, there's not a bad story in it. They're all excellent, just like you're saying, Tom. But the Lochnar, if you look at the DVD commentary, like the Lochnar was an afterthought. They just added that in, and
yeah, they just wanted something to tie them all together. Yeah,
yeah, and it did it so well. It was a brilliance.
Yep.
Sheer utter brilliance. I was gonna say, man, is IMDb gonna pull the plug on my own stream with the class?
No, I don't think they will.
They wouldn't allow photos.
These are put up by people anyway. It's not like, I mean, this is obviously some cool. Oh, this is some cool ass official shit here. Like, I would love to have that fucking poster.
Dude,
Does it say on the license plate Lander or something? Lander?
I think so, something like that.
Yeah, Lander. Yeah. That's a pretty cool one.
seriously, all these amazing shots, like it's like watching a comic book actually play out, like panel for panel in a way. So yeah, guys, I guess you could say the first ever Toxic Tuesday comic book film, because we've never really done that. I thought we never get to comic book films, but well, heavy metal is one in a way.
Hanover Fest.
There's one really funny bit. They just showed the spot where it happens in this segment, where when he's wreaking havoc inside the space station, sections of the ring fall down into the space station, not out, and then dust rises, clouds of dust rise, and it's like, you do realize there's no atmosphere outside the station, right? It's like George Lucas having
the Lochnar enters the space station without going through any kind of airlock. It just goes right in through the door.
It actually looks like it passes straight through a portal, a viewport. But yeah, that's the physics in this is very cartoonish. Think Roadrunner.
Oh, there's
a
She's wearing a thong.
You're acting like this is an animated movie or something, man.
See, I could have watched. I think for me, I could have watched if it was written right and extended to have more story. Tarna as a complete movie.
See, that's what I thought we were getting with Heavy Metal too, because they kind of trick you with the poster. Because that chick that's in the movie kind of looks like Tarna, So I almost thought that's what it was too. And then when I saw the movie, I'm just like, this is nothing to do with the other one.
Because that whole section is brilliant. I mean, I think for me, the other one I love is the B-17, just because it's I don't know, something about it, the verisimilitude of it. It's great.
Did you just use an R&B word?
Yeah, I did.
Actually, he mixed verisimilitude.
I like the fact that when they're in the air, it looks great, and then when you're on the ground, it's chilling, and it just ends in that chilling note. I just love it.
I think he meant to say symbolism, but yeah.
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 It does start off with a great tune. It sets up the B-17 part really good.
Yeah.
No, this is the only time where even though I can't stand the Black Album, there's one lyric that makes very relevant sense when we saw that photo when James Hetfield said, "And nothing else matters." Because I knew someone else would. I knew someone would get that.
I would follow her anywhere, even though she is a cartoon.
Yeah. It's a great piece of art.
Yeah. So I guess I can tell we're getting to the end shots of the closing shots, and
we're getting close now.
Yes, I like for the chats. I know you're still here. You're still 45 plus strong in here. I want to see you guys' scores on this movie. Like, where does it stand the test of time for you? You know the ritual. Regular score, toxicity score. So I want to see all those chats. I'll read them all off. And for those who are new, because I saw a few first timers in here, that's what we do is we rate of 1 to 10 on how toxic this movie is, and then 1 out of 10 and your overall opinion of the movie. And meanwhile, while we're doing that, hi guys, we'll say our overall thoughts on the movie, and we'll start off with Mr. Dustin.
Okay. Excuse me.
You're good, dude. Thanks for being here. You didn't have to.
Yep.
I would have understood if you.
Dude. I'll get sleep when I'm dead, homie.
I know that life.
So I mean, it's obviously a 10 movie for me. It's a great movie. I've owned it since I could. I got it on. Pretty sure it was VHS because I didn't have a DVD player yet when it came out, and I think it's a 10 on the toxic scale too. I mean, but I think it's one of the best animated movies, and I know that everybody in my household that was watching it with me would probably disagree, but they're like, "This is terrible," and I'm like, "This is a great movie."
It is.
It's a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, if it's their first, seeing it. So I mean, like, I guess looking at it like from when we did, because I know I saw it like on HBO or something before it was available on VHS. I think that's how I found it the first time, and then when it came out, I was like, "Yeah," because I wasn't old enough to see it in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it was on HBO. I do remember seeing it on HBO because when the chat said it came out in '96 on VHS, I was like, I'm pretty sure I remember seeing that on VHS before then. I must have taped it off of HBO.
Yeah, because I think when they finally released it, we talked about it earlier in the chat, I think, is because of the music rights. They couldn't release it.
Yes, there was the whole rights with the music, and that's why there was a big, long delay between the inevitable VHS release from when it originally came out the years in 81. Yes.
But this movie's dope.
All right. Killer. And 70s.
Oh, I just love this. It's got everything in it. It's got music. It's got science fiction. It's got humor, and it's got boobs. What more could an adolescent boy ask for when I first saw it? I'll say boy, 19, 18, 19-ish, when we saw it in VHS. I just absolutely love it. I thought I'd never seen anything like it, and I'm not sure I've ever seen anything quite like it since. I've seen things influenced by it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I absolutely love it. Toxicity, it's a 10. Absolutely 10. There's no way you could make this movie in this way today and have the same things in it. It just would not happen. I mean, you might get the strong woman, but she would be another strong woman would be her partner in bed or whatever, which is fine. I can accept that. But but no, I'll give that a 10 for Toxicity and a 9.5 as a movie. It's unique. It's a unique movie and it's fucking brilliant.
All right. Cool. Thank you, 70s. Tom.
Won't you take a ride on heavy metal?
I need one of those.
It's the only way that you can travel down that road. Won't you take a ride?
Stop
Okay,
it.
sorry.
That was great.
Anyway, no, this is a fucking amazing movie. To answer everybody's thing, I found this is what happened. Okay, it did not hit home video. They are correct until 1996 on video and Laserdisc. Prior to that, it was on HBO in 83 and 91. So yeah. So there is the answer. And as I was saying, it was for the anniversary. They really re-released it in theaters. Yeah, so there you go.
All right. Killer. Well, thank you.
And as far as my ratings, it's fucking 10 out of 10. I mean, it's fucking heavy metal.
I wasn't expecting you to give any less. I was like, I think we
It's
already
one
knew.
of the greatest movies of all time.
There's
I mean,
no
it may not.
suspense there at all, is there? I mean,
It may not be in my top 10 movies of all time, but it's definitely one of my favorite animated films of all time. It's definitely my top 25 somewhere for sure, probably, if not at least. As far as the toxicity goes, for the most part, yeah, it's pretty high. But you get to the Tarna scene, though, and that really, and the ending is kind of like a nice little capper on it all. It's like, yeah, we're going to be misogynistic and toxic as we can be through this whole movie, but guess what? We're going to give you a strong whammons at the end, and it even has this uplifting kind of like pro-feminine kind of like ending to it in a way. So the movie, to me, like anybody who says like, oh, clearly these guys just hate women and they're misogynistic. No, you guys don't get it.
it's the opposite.
There's a fine line between being that and seeing women as objects and also seeing them as very beautiful, and all women is beautiful, and just loving women in general and the beauty of them. And I think that's what this movie embraces, right? The beauty, the power, the everything. And just add in, this is pre-MTV. So like we didn't have music videos. We didn't have the kind, like this is kind of, I have a feeling like this definitely influenced what a music video could be, especially when you talk about that bomber sequence, right? Like, I mean, that's something that, and not only that, it definitely probably influenced, like you could tell like that bomber sequence and some other things probably definitely influenced The Wall, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
And played into some of that business because that was right around the corner after this. So like, I mean, as far as a number I'd have to put on it, probably an 8 toxicity level. One of the more toxic ones we've ever done.
Oh, yes. Easily. Killer. I'm assuming that will be all, sir. Yes.
Yeah, I don't want to take anybody else's time.
Nah, you're good, man. You're good. Red
Damn
shirt.
right. Well, I'm with Wes on my favorite segment from this, and Tom on this is my all-time favorite animated movie. I've seen a lot of animated movies. I've seen as many as I could because I love animation. This is just fantastic, especially considering that it wasn't made until 1981. And to me, the classic period of animation is the 40s and the 50s. So, for this to be made now and to have the women animated the way they were and drawn the way they were in an R-rated movie, basically, is just amazing to me that this ever got made. Never mind whether you could make it now. That it ever got made is fantastic. So for me, a score is an easy 10 out of 10 for an animated film. This thing nails it. It's got the music, it's got the backgrounds, it's got the drawing, the story, different kinds of stories. If you don't like one segment, you can like the next one. You can fast forward if you want, that kind of thing. As far as toxicity goes, when this movie first came out, most of the guys in this movie would have been considered chivalrous, with exception possibly of the cab driver. They don't go after the women. The women throw themselves at them. And they say, well, okay. That's most of it. Now, granted, today, they'd be considered toxic. So I have to rate it on today's toxicity scale. So it's got to be a 9 out of 10.
All right. Killer. Thank you, Red Shirt.
That's a good point because most of the women are more toxic than the men in this movie. But then again, that's where the argument can be made that it's more of a male fantasy in the sense that, like you said, all the women just throw themselves at the men.
Oh, this was my fantasy as a 17, 18
Well, I think it was most men's fantasy.
I'm
going to kill you, but first I'm going to fuck you.
Exactly. I'm going to kill all those guys. Then you and I are going to get it on, and then we'll see what happens.
Oh, let's castrate him.
Oh. All right, Wes.
Well, heavy metal is one of my all-time favorite movies. I love heavy metal. It's weird that I had, young parents that, apparently got too stoned and took me to see it when it came out in the theater. So that I have that unique connection to it. But then I also remember being in elementary school and seeing it with my friends, and then later on through high school. So I have those different perspectives on it, and it's just a great story, and it has everything. It has an amazing adventure, and it's got again, the toxicity factor, the gratuitous violence and gratuitous boobage, and the adult humor, and it's well written, and just the animation and the different styles and different stories, and the way the Lochnar just brilliantly ties it all together, and the cast, it's lightning in a bottle. It's a shame that it didn't inspire more like it. So I think I never give a 10 out of 10. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. The 10 out of 10 for me is like a unicorn. It's like my 10 is universal acclamation and a spiritual experience. So I don't think I'll ever give a 10 out of 10 for anything. That's just how I rate things. So it's a 9 out of 10 for me. And then, on the toxicity scale, I think I have to go with Red Shirt and go with today's toxicity. Yeah. I mean, the women by and large were, professional women and handled business, but the gratuitous TNA, and the fact that a man was needed there in the first place, I think probably would put this as an 8 out of 10 on the toxicity scale. Would have been, now see that on the toxicity scale, I probably would have given a 10 out of 10, but Tarna takes 2 points away.
Well, Tarna takes 2 points away.
It's a couple of good points.
Strong woman, yeah. Going
Saving
out there,
throw.
lopping heads off,
Well,
she's got a couple of good points.
Well, thank you, Wes. And I'm gonna blaze through these here. Tim Hayes, 10. Stephen Ransom says, toxicity 10 out of 10. Overall 10 out of 10. This film changed my life. I was a young artist and I lost my mind. Dude, that's awesome. Soul Assassin, 10 out of 10. Toxicity, 10 out of 10. Boobage, I see what you did there, 10 out of 10. Music, definitely not a handy Randy movie. Southern Viking, 10 across the board. Joe's Atmosphere, just like every good metal, crank it up to 11. I can't count how many times I saw it at the midnight movies in high school. Dude, awesome. And Anonymous, this movie's toxic animation at its finest. Variety of styles and storylines. Music selection was glorious. And then Dart Scipio here for a stoner film, 10 out of 10. Toxicity level off the charts. Overall, 10 out of 10. Soundtrack is the GOAT.
Okay, for a stoner film, it is a 10 out of 10.
All right. Oh, yeah, and I added one. And then Shawnee Step, agreed. 10 out of 10. Overall, 10 as well. Channel Surf is improved over time due to the nostalgia factor. Toxicity, 10. Overall, 8. Gareth Morgan, I will also give an 8 out of 10. The Peter Venkman fan site. Toxicity, 8. Animation, 10 out of 10. Music, 7. Strong female action, 10. Dudes, 5 out of 10 overall. 10 plus 5 for decapitation. Nice one. And New Bob Turk, 10 out of 10, but you need to do a Ralph Bakshi soon. I'm not sure. I'm not. I may be missing something there.
Ralph Bakshi is a director. He's the one who directed Fritz the Cat and shit.
And directed a rotoscoped
Lord of the
first
Rings.
half of the Lord of the Rings that he never got to finish.
And then Toxic Man Flu says 1 out of 10 on the mad scale of oiled up male volleyball and blue jeans from me. How you doing, Tox?
The other big Bakshi film you might remember is Cool World.
I haven't seen that. I'll have to look it up.
Have not seen it.
No.
So,
It came out after Roger Rabbit. It was like adult Roger Rabbit.
I love
I
Roger
saw it like
Rabbit.
one time, I think.
Hollywood, and she did.
All right, guys.
It's about got Brad Pitt in it, and it's about an animator who fucks his creation, played by Kim Basinger, and she comes to life. Yeah.
Oh, I've seen parts of it. That
Yeah.
rings a bell.
Yeah, and then you go to Cool World, and Cool World is like Toontown, and Brad Pitt's stuck there. He's one of the only live people there or whatever. And he's like a detective, yeah. It's a pretty decent little raunchy film. Yeah, it's fun.
Laughs. It's got some laughs.
Yeah, it's not nearly as good as Roger Rabbit, of course, but yeah, it was definitely fun.
So good. I love Roger Rabbit. All right, guys. Well, before we plug in the channels, just want to say thank you guys. Seriously, 53 plus strong in the chat. We held on to a giant chunk of this audience. Thank you, especially for the adjustment without our Lord and Savior, Mark D with the C. And Mark, wherever you're out there, hope you have a good night. And I look forward to having you back soon. And Gary from Pop Culture Minefield will return next week. That man's recovering and getting busy to work at home, sir. We missed you. So, seriously, to the chat, thank you for coming back. And to new faces, I seriously hope to see you again. And for the insane amount of direct donations and super chats, holy shit, you guys came out super generous. Look at you, Christian, and everyone else. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Next week, of course, as mentioned right at the beginning of the stream, we are talking Team America World Police, which I swear on every freaking love of fuck, I did not mean for it to be the day after the 4th of July. That happened by chance. So we will have Comics Division joining us, as well as Vigilante Williamson as well. So they're going to be joining the Toxic Ones next week, and that is going to be huge in so many ways. And what a great flick Team America will be to talk about. So yes, America, fuck yeah, indeed. So seriously,
Gary, I want you to get down on your knees.
Have you ever seen a man eat his own head? No, then you haven't seen everything.
Seen everything. I love
Everybody's got AIDS. My mother, my brother, my sister, my dog, my cousin, my aunt, my teacher.
Muhammad Jihad.
Yes.
Darker.
It's gonna be huge, guys. So
Rowney, I'm so Rowney and Rowney around.
Alec Baldwin, fag.
Matt Damon.
Amen. Seriously, come back for that
the
next
whole movie
week.
now.
Right? Come back for Team America next week. It's gonna be off the charts. Until then, guys, once again, thank you all for your support. I'm gonna now let these gentlemen plug in their things. I'm gonna let Dustin go because I think he really needs
America.
Yeah, come check me out at Keto Simple on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff. I just hit 1,900 subscribers, and I'm about to hit that button for monetization. I actually have gone over the 4,000 hours, so
Good for you, buddy.
yeah, man, it's
Well
crazy.
done.
And so come check me out. Something for everybody, as long as you like keto, right? And even if you don't, food, man. I make a lot of good food. So come check it out.
Yes, guys. For those of you who are watching, whether it's on your phone or on your computers, I literally have his name tagged, so you can just click on the tag name on the description. It'll take you straight to his channel. So it makes it a little easier even for the mods. Dustin, thank you for being on here. You had every right to not be on here. So I appreciate it, sir.
Yeah.
And I will see you soon. And hopefully for Team America, if we're lucky.
I should be feeling better by then, man.
All right.
You guys have a great night. I'm gonna go ahead and jump off here.
No,
Hey,
hey,
Mark.
Now Mark gets here.
I jumped in the last minute. I couldn't resist. I hope you guys like those screen captures.
We have to start again from the beginning.
We didn't
Well, I went through them, Mark, and what happened was they with the captures they only went up to the first the New York scene, and then they stopped. I didn't like show them on the screen. Is as I was going through them before I was.
So you didn't get any of the pictures of Mad and all those good pictures with the...
No, we didn't get anything. No.
Oh my god! Oh, I got to show one or two.
Yes, please.
Well, we're plugging channels.
We're plugging.
We yeah. We can do that. So we'll let Redshirt just go ahead and say your thoughts. We'll mark digs for some amazing photos.
Oh, no problem. You can find me in plenty of chats as a wrench, and I'm pretty much always on the MFR Cocktail Lounge on Friday evenings after Friday Night Tights on Foulball Productions channel. So check me out there.
All right. Thank you, Redshirt. Appreciate it as always, sir. Nice to see you as always, and I will see you next week when we go America Fuck Yeah.
That will be fun.
Hello, I'm Tom. Karate with infinite patience. You and I, we're rare people. I love you.
Love you too, Tom. I'm gonna miss you.
Major boobage.
I'll have to show you how to do the slideshow when I'm not here. Then, but yeah, there's some. I did some nice ones of Mad, and then let's see, I put in some cool ones of you too. Let's see. There we go.
I like you.
Let's see here.
She got beautiful eyes.
Right?
Too bad they're closed.
There you go, guys. Last minute toxicity.
We'll have to we'll post. I'll post this somewhere. So.
That was good.
Oh, do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Come there. Let me skip to the other scene here. Where was?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Digfred. Oh, there you go, Darren. You got it. Seriously, that one's gonna be hard to tot. Sits on the fire crotch. Yes, guys, that is my Gilded link. Please join us on Gilded. It is like Discord, but without all the draconian big tech BS.
Fuck you, Gilded!
And I have almost 100 members on Gilded, so let's make my member bigger and join Gilded.
Oh, there we go. I guess it's gonna be tough to top that. Tough to top that other one. Yeah, I think I used you one other time.
Soul Assassin, yes. Chris Mead has brought this up to me. Fire and Ice is something that is definitely gonna have to be looked at into strong consideration. So stay tuned on that, sir. All right, you and Mr. Mead. Over here, I'm gonna let Mr. 70s have his say. And he's boomering it. So now I feel better. I'm not the only one boomering.
You're muted.
He's still muted. You want
Hansicles.
I don't know. I kept hitting the no, okay, sorry about that. I got too many buttons. I got the Stream Deck. I was playing with my Stream Deck. Yeah, thanks, Nick. Great stream, and thank you to the chat once again. You've been just fucking awesome. It's been such a good show. Had a great stream yesterday. I haven't got anything in the next couple of days, but a fantastic stream yesterday, a special on Creedence Clearwater Revival. So if anybody feels like going back and watching yesterday's stream, it was really good fun. We had a brilliant conversation about the greatest American rock band ever, Creedence Clearwater Revival. Let's throw that one out there. And I got a few videos up in the last few days too, so check those out. It's That 70s Rock Fan. And I'll hopefully, work shifts permitting, be on Matt's Foulball Productions MFR Cocktail Lounge on Friday. Hell, I might even sneak into the Midnight's Edge After Dark on Thursday, because I won't be at work at that time. So we shall see if Tom lets me in.
He's going to come.
Would America be considered an American band?
America would be considered an American band.
We're an American band.
But they're nowhere as near as influential as Creedence. So.
All right.
Anyway,
cool.
But have they ever seen the rain?
Well, they haven't. And have they ever been up around the bend? And do they know that there's a bathroom on the right?
When they run through the jungle, no.
When they run through the jungle, they don't know.
Oh, Lord. Stuck
All
in
right,
Lodi
guys.
again.
Tomorrow never knows, though, so.
Right here is that
They're
70s
Tomorrow
rock
never
fan.
comes, I mean.
They're a traveling band.
Guys, this is where Tom has his number 2 Mead Radio. That's where it's right here. Eric K. posted. Eric, thank you for being an awesome mod as always. And posted Charles, that 70s rock fan above. And I know Dustin, a red shirt right here. He's on Twitter. And Dustin Keto Simple. So, and now Mr. West of Whatever Cast, sir. Go ahead and plug your plugs.
Okay, well, after a brief absence from YouTube, meaning they nuked my old channel, I'm back and better than ever on Whatevercast. So you can find me at youtube.com/whatevercastofficial and talk about current events and pop culture over there and whatever the heck I want to. Hope to see you there, and thank you for having me on, Nick, and
My pleasure.
folks on the panel, and of course, the best chat on YouTube. We love you.
Thank you for being here, Wes. I appreciate you joining. I was always looking forward to getting you on
The
one of
best.
these. So you chose a good one to come on for. So I'll see you soon, sir. All right.
Thanks for
And of course, to the man who keeps the visuals going in 800 ways more than one, and the one who adds all the comic relief to it, and the collector of amazing toys, Mr. Mark D with a C, sir.
Yep, thank you. Yep,
Do
sorry. We have a summertime poker game, so I won $10 tonight, everyone. So
Woo!
came out ahead, but I get to see.
He lost 1,000, but he won 10.
I lost 1,000, but I lost 10. Yeah, but I got some buddies coming in from out of town, so we kind of have like a reunion. And of course, they picked Tuesdays, but yeah, glad to jump in at the tail end here to get everyone to laugh at those pictures of Nick and Mads. But yeah, check out my channel. Appreciate everyone that's subbed to it. I've got a show on Sunday Night Geekery, and I'm on Thursday night with Clobbering Times in the Clubhouse and toy videos, 3D printing, and I'm doing the Orville right now, working on some models of the Orville. So check that out. And I got to give my review real quick of this movie. I know you guys talked it, but just this is a 9.5 to me, and a shout out to my good buddy Larry if he's out there, because for years Larry had this. He stayed up one night, recorded it like one of the few times it was on HBO, and I think 86 or 85, whatever the heck it was, back when we were in high school. So for years, I think it was out in 96 was the first time you could watch it. So for like,
we actually have it in the back here. It came out in 83 and 91 on HBO.
Yeah.
And then it finally hit video in 96. Yeah.
Yeah. So Larry taped it in 83. So we watched that tape like every other weekend, and it was like one of the most prized possessions. Like, can I borrow the tape? No, that's not leaving my house because you couldn't get it. It was unobtainium back. There was no interwebs where you could download stuff. So that's just a fun, high school memory, just watching this, maybe drinking a little bit too much and having fun with this toxic movie. So 9.5, and yeah, it's a 10 for toxicity. Looking at it, especially today. But yeah, just a fun movie, and especially I'm sure you talked about the 4K version, but if you have a chance, grab that 4K version and buy yourself an Atmos system and crank it to 11. It's a all-time great movie. So glad to be here, and yep.
Cool.
Everyone,
well,
thank you.
Mark.
Thank you. Yep.
Appreciate it, sir. And I look forward to next week when we go America Fuck Yeah for Team America. I appreciate it, sir. And thank you for the mad visuals as always. Hopefully you had a fun night winning $10.
Yeah, I got my $10. Yep.
And last but not least, guys, obviously it's me. I think I got everyone. I got Mark, Redshirt, 70s Tom, Wes. Okay, we're good. Yeah, guys, once again, thank you for being here, whether it's for a little bit, half of it, the majority of it, all of it. Thank you guys for being here and supporting. To all the new faces, I hope to see you again soon. And thank you all for the super chats and direct donations. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. And for the new subs, too, seriously, thank you guys very much. And to Tom, once again, helping bring new faces to Toxic Tuesday becomes more and more glorious as the weeks come on. So, we're going to keep on coming, guys. And next week, we're going to come a lot for when we do Team America World Police for the next Toxic Tuesday. So please join us. It's the day after the 4th of July. The timing of that was destiny. We need to embrace that next week and go America. Fuck yeah. Until then, I have a pizza video come out this week. Friday Night Comic Shop Talk as well. I yell park cars with the Dix Division. And you can see me on Midnight's Edge After Dark as well. Until then, guys, thank you for being here. This is goodbye. Good fight. And I'll have some fancy outro. But lastly, but not leastly, and most importantly, good night, everyone. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Have fun storming the castle.